ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with the last week of Titan Ascendant League, and actually the last week for Titan this split. It's the finals. I'm Romeo, joined today by Anti. We got XSV taking on Akuma. Once again, just a repeat of Sentinels, kind of. How you doing, Anti?
I am doing wonderful, Romeo. I mean, we are here with very, very storied organizations at this point, right? I mean, it's XSV and it's Akuma. These two teams always, regardless of whether it's Ascendant, whether it's Sentinels, whether it's, basically anywhere in Titan, always manage to deliver some bangers. XSV, I'd argue, the same kind of teams during the regular season in comparison to how they are during the playoffs, right? And regardless of how it is that they do during the regular season and playoffs, they're always just very consistent with it. And this time around, they are very consistently on top. XSV Neon has been the only team to perch that first seed and not only manage to do that, but hold on to it throughout the Ascendant season. Akuma, on the other hand, an organization that somehow manages to always pick up players and teams, I'm gonna guess it's something to do with their coaching staff, that do okay during the regular season and come alive during playoffs. Every once in a while, you'll have an Akuma team that's a monster during the regular season and then kicks it into second gear in playoffs. But what we are seeing right now is a Akuma team that's really come into its own. This is a 5th seed Akuma Spikers coming in to take on 1st seed XSV Neon, and I still don't know who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, no, I absolutely have no idea. It's a wonder watching these two orcs. So XSV feels like they're becoming the new Dorado Gaming in a way, where they are constantly popping up across any league they are in, semifinals or finals of a playoffs. You come here in any of our Titan leagues, any of the CCS leagues, any of the BOL leagues, there is an XSV team going the distance. And like you said, then you look at Akuma, the playoff pop-offs. They've already picked up a Titan League Finals victory against XSV 3-2. 5-game bangers. I think Akuma's also a team we constantly watch go the distance in playoffs. They're constantly going 4 or 5 games. Of course, last week we casted them against True Minded Gaming Flash 3-1 was what we got out of Akuma Spikers. Now this season, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I expect this game to go 5 games. I don't know who I expect to pick up the win. every finals this week has gone 5 games.
I totally get it. I understand. I went into this assuming that I'm going to be in for the long haul, but I don't want to cast a curse it really, really early on. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I guess this time, if we're expecting it to go for the long haul, maybe it turns into a 3-0. Who knows? Either way, what we do know is that this is bound to be a crazy, crazy series, especially with how much things have changed up, especially with the most recent patch decided to just throw in some more magic resist to some of these AD carries, which I have to say, I'm terrified of the thought that they gave Tristana more magic resist because of all the AD carries to be giving more magic resist. We're tossing it to the one who always wants to be mid lane. Are you for real right now? Either way, regardless of that, we're going to be seeing maybe less mages in the bot lane. Maybe we're going to be seeing some more on-hit AD carries with that new Terminus buff. But what I do know for certain is that these teams are bound to give us something crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting something crazy. And with the meta that it is, I mean, every pick is going to every lane. It's going to the jungle. This meta's been wild. I'm sure it's going to change by next split. But right now, we get everything wild. Games are going the distance. Teams are playing their best. And I mean, even if you look at these 10 players below, these are some of the best players. These are players who are constantly getting picks in like the top 5s of the weeks. They're constantly making big plays, and they are teams that run the rift. I mean, you got Fireflame, so I called towards the start of the season as being one of the best top laners in Ascendance. G Mumu has made some iconic jungle plays. Heppo and Anthony is going to be a mid matchup for the ages. There is just so much to see, and I mean, Chief and Fluke, I think, might be the best bot lane duo in Ascendant, and I think on top of that, like, Morbidly Obese has been one of the, like, probably best micro ADCs we've seen. Of course, in M500 cap. That is something huge to say, but we're going to get the bans in our way. Victor going to be taken away. Camille going to be taken away. I think one other thing to mention is we do have the player awards coming tonight. They will be coming about halfway through this stream, so stay tuned if you're curious about the player awards. We got the graphic and everything ready, but you got to stay with us if you want to see it. We'll be showing it on the match point game right beforehand. But anyways, Game 1, obviously, this is the game where you get the momentum going. You get the ball rolling. You want to go up 1-0 because if you go up 1-0, you know you can win. You know it's winnable. Seraphine going to be taken off the table. Ambessa gone. Orianna gone. Is there any final ban we're hoping for, Anti? I want the lock.
I mean, honestly, a lot of these things is just a matter of taking away these champions that can do so much to open up these team compositions. So I love all of these, right? The Camille can flex. The Seraphine opens up so many opportunities. Orianna ban means that you're not going to be prioritizing Jarvan. Victor, another one of these flexes. Poppy just shuts down a ton of the big dashing champions. Ezreal going to be picked up as the first pick of blue side. Honestly, a little bit surprising of a first pick here, but if we're going to go with Ezreal blind, there is always the option of slamming down a Draven, but instead we're just going to go with the tried, the true, the classic, the point and click CC. So Vi might be picking up a Nautilus as well. It's just a matter of making sure that these AD carries that have so much safety don't get a chance to actually survive. Now, I do see the Syndra. I am a little bit interested as to whether or not this is going to be going into the bot lane or the mid lane, and if it does, are we going to be seeing the Storm Surge Imperial Mandate build that's been gaining a lot of, traction lately? Bard, on the other hand, strong roaming support, which is exactly what you've been seeing a ton of these previous patches.
I definitely do like the Syndra if it's going bot lane. If I would much rather see an aggressive mid laner being paired with that Vi. I'm sure they're going to hold on to the flex for a little bit. But I just feel like if you're going to lock in Vi, you need a mid laner to play with that Vi. That Vi wants to be aggressive early. It wants to do some things. Nautilus, also a great roaming support with a mage. I'm imagining we're getting the Syndra Ezreal bot lane. I also think Vi is really, really good at locking down somebody mobile like Ezreal. Ezreal had such a hard time getting away and playing into a Vi, which is what makes that pick really good. The Wukong is the answer.
You click your ult. That's all you do. Makes it easy.
Wukong is the answer. I like for the team fight. I don't know how I feel about it in Vi. I know it's traditional counter in the sense that, like, if Vi ults the wrong Wukong, you ult the clone, it's a waste of a play. You can use that clone to block a lot of the CC.
I think that a big part of champions like the Wukong, like the Nocturne into Vi, are champions that are very, very good at shutting down the follow-up, right? So that's the big reason as to why we take up something like the Wukong, because, you ult towards the backline, you ult towards the Ezreal, right? Ezreal doesn't get a chance to play. You ult the enemy backline, they don't get a chance to play. But the Xayah pick right now, sorry, not Xayah, Kai'Sa pick right now, I think is a phenomenal job from XSV because they are super ultra indexed onto that hard engage. The Galio going to be taken up here because you know it's going to be a Syndra mid, and you know that this Galio is going to give you so much of that disengage. Also because in the case that it's not a Syndra mid and it's like Kai'Sa top and you stick the Galio in mid lane, you don't want to be dealing with even more of that dive. But we got the Zehen picked blind in that top lane for Fireflan. So what are we going to get in response? It is the Aatrox Battle of the Bruisers up in top lane. None of these crazy shenanigans. Nobody's going range top and selling their soul. But, today we're going to be seeing some, surprisingly, pretty standardized League of Legends.
Yeah, it is pretty standard. I'm not gonna lie, I do think holding the Wukong's ahead as like a flex is like not bad, but I do think Aatrox is a pick that's gonna go pretty wild into either of them. My only thing is Syndra mid with Vi I don't love. And we're also playing a very hard dive comp. And then Syndra. Syndra feels a little bit homeless in this draft. It's obviously that late game insurance. You can do a lot with it, and it can be that last hit potential you need once it hits that 120 stacks. So I'm curious to see how that scales, but I think if Kai'Sa falls behind this game, you're going to have a really, really hard time playing it. Kai'Sa is like the crux of this dive comp. On the other end, Ezreal's ahead is kind of where we're looking to a lot of the power on this team. I think one of the things is there's not a ton of AP damage source on Akuma Spikers. I mean, you have the Galio, and Galio does do AP. Oh my god. Immediately, we burned the flash out of Aatrox. As soon as we get the camera over, Aatrox already chunked to a quarter, forced to flash in that top side, and is going to miss some of that first wave. Doesn't have TP, has the Ignite. That is awful for Aatrox, and it's an immediate first roam from that bar that's going to do a lot, and he's not going to be that late in lane. I mean, they will lose that level 2, but at the end of the day, it's an Ezreal, and all he wasted was a heal. So, really, really well played, and you can tell that's going to be a big roaming bard, right? Ezreal taking TP, not going to take a barrier, not going to take I mean, I guess heal on himself. It is just for those Bard roams. He's expecting a time where, I mean, you're just TPing to catch waves. You know you're going to get chunked. You know they're going to try to dive you, and you just want to be back in lane as quick as possible.
Yeah, and one thing I'll also note here, so Fluke actually did manage to get the experience from the first 3 minions. Otto dropped 1 minion worth of XP, but considering that it's Bard and you have the chimes available, usually Bard is hitting level 2 1 minion earlier than most of the people in bot lane. So instead, Otto just going to be delaying that level 2 a little bit, but Bard is God at level 1. Level 2 doesn't really do much for him, so there's a very big amount to learn about the cost effectiveness here, right? Like, what is it that you are trading? So right now, Fireflan's enjoying the way how this top lane is moving. And I know, Romeo, you're not the biggest fan of the Syndra. I think that the Syndra is actually pretty, how do you call it? Versatile in a comp like this if you do aim to play that disengage, so that way your backline divers can actually go for the rest of them, right? So Syndra a lot of the time is a champion who you think to yourself, oh well, she just hits R and bursts down the enemy carries, right? And when you have a point and click composition with Nautilus and Vi, that's pretty dang good. But in a comp like this who also wants to dive, I think that there's a huge amount to gain from Syndra if Heppo decides to instead just pop your ult early on the front line and use the Scatter of the Weak to just make sure that nobody can actually stop your backline divers from killing your Ezreal.
Yeah, and I can see the argument for it. I 100% can see the argument for it. It just feels like something like an Ahri would have went way harder here. You know what I mean? I feel like something like Ahri, you still get that AP. It synergizes very, very well with the Vi. You can either follow up the charm or you can be that initial engage. And you can do a lot of roaming with the Vi to get your team ahead. Because I think at the end of the day, yes, this is your late game insurance. Yes, it's going to get a lot of scaling. And yes, you can do things like you just mentioned. But it's one of those champions where I feel like it's going to be a bit of a weirder time playing. It does help your team fight a bit. And it helps you if you're at the objectives first. And it helps you finish the job. I just don't know how they play the game, especially into Wukong Zehen as well. I think that, like, chat's called it out. It's a very difficult look for Heppo this game. We know Heppo's very good on the Syndra. This is a champion we've seen him pilot a couple times on stream to a large amount of success. I just think it is one of the harder Syndra games I've seen in Ascendant.
Yeah, I think this is all about the utility Syndra game, but that is, what the issue with picking these blind mid laners. In the meantime, top lane, pretty dang solid trading going for I'm Blast over here. Fireflan's at the very least able to hold that minuscule CS lead, but Zehen versus the Aatrox is one of those things that you really have to get to the later stages of the game for. Otto, on the other hand, just roaming around, just doing Bard things.
Big poke, though, on that Kai'Sa, right? Already chucking her to half. That is huge for the Ezreal. Meanwhile, Fireflan's having a bit of a different time. Could die here. The Ignite goes off. Fireflan's is not going to get away. It's a first blood coming to I'm Blast.
Yeah, and I'm Blast able to get that last kill, that last tick of the Ignite at just the right time. And that's with the, and that's with the auto attack being canceled from the Aatrox. That's with the full early support for Fireflan's in that top lane, but instead it's just going to be I'm Blast taking that early lead. That is huge for the side of XSV Neon. I know that Fireflan's has been a very large point of power for the side of Akuma throughout the entirety of the season, so having him go down early is very concerning.
I will say one of the things with Fireflan's, although he's one of my favorite top laners in Ascendant, we've consistently watched him be a feast or famine. When he falls behind, he's pretty useless most games. When he's ahead, he does a great job. The question is that one death a blunder? Or is that going to spell what could be the series for Fireflan's this series? Right? Obviously, he got counterpicked. So that doesn't make things the easiest. I'm sure you have the choice between, do you want to play Wukong or Zhen here? But, look, he's getting hit with every Q here. He's got no jungle assistant. And, you're getting ignited there and you burn the flash. I think that's one of the most atrocious parts of that trade, right? You even see him turn at the end and be like, yeah, I'm dead. This sucks. But you burn the flash. If that third Q is going to land, you're going to die. And meanwhile, while that's happening, they're junglers on the bottom of the map. They get Dragon. There's no cross map to be had there. And now XSV, not only first blood up in the Dragon. 3% bonus attack damage and ability power going to come from that first Inferno Drake. And that is really, really big early on in the game. Okay, big engagement.
Just walks on in.
Yeah, it looks like there is the fight going. Heppo is there, but so is Iconic. The Cyclone going to go through. That is the cease and assist, but it's not going to do anything. Jimumu forced to flash. Heppo on the other side of the wall. There's going to be another Cyclone on top of Heppo. It's the pullback from Fireflames. There is going to be the Grim Deliverance. It finds Heppo, and now Aatrox caught between three. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The World Ender not going to be able to get away. No, he is. He gets under the turret. Thomas going to take 2 tower shots. Fireflames survives with his passive brain. Those 12 stacks do so much damage in Iconic. Gonna find a kill. It's a 2 for nothing trade from Akuma Spikers.
Yeah, and the Mystic Shot almost manages to find its target, but we can see just so much power in the roams from Akuma. You thought it was going to come from the Bard. No, it's coming from Fireflames. It's coming from Thomas. It's coming from this top side of the map. Otto might be moving around, but if your entire team is focused on where the Bard could be, how are you supposed to pay attention to the rest of the game that's going on?
Yeah, and I mean, just look how good this is. Aatrox is on the roam. Fireflames, smart enough to get there a little bit quicker. I mean, it's a great flash from Vi to get out, but Heppo, nowhere to go because of that immobile mage, and that's what we're talking about when it's hard to play into like a Bard's head. However, a huge engagement on a Fluke. That Dredge Light is going to spell disaster, and it's lights out for Fluke. It's going to be Heppo who picks up the kill. It's a big way of getting back into the game from Syndra. Great counter rotation right from base is going to find the ADC.
Yeah, it does not matter how mobile of an AD carry you are. If you get tagged by a single bit of CC against a Kai'Sa, good luck existing. Otto just going to go ahead and journey on out of there, so not going to be in so much trouble, but more Leo Beast getting a little bit of gold under his belt here, and this Kai'Sa is bound to be a huge problem the later stages of the game. That is going to be the lethal tempo on the Kai'Sa, so I would love to see a Terminus build Kai'Sa come on through, especially because that item got buffed so hard on this patch. I genuinely want to see more of these AD carries taking control of that, but I haven't done enough research. You know, maybe it's just all in my head. Who knows?
No, I think I've been hearing a couple people talking about those buffs and how they are a little bit disgusting. I think it's interesting this patch how prevalent Kai'Sa and Tristana has become in some of these more diver ADCs, and I'm wondering how much does Terminus affect that? Oh god! Third Q! Fireflames goes down immediately. That is going to be the heroic entrance, but it's not going to find anything. Iron Blast able to stay alive, and Iron Blast right now, I mean, it's a little bit of a top gap going on here.
Yeah, man's name is Iron Blast, but he is him, just managing to get these solo kills on repeat on one of the best members.
Oh god, the dive is here. 3 members there. They're able to turn back 1 for 1, but that whole wave is going to be lost in the name of a support kill. You are going to lose about 12 CS in that wave for that death, and no TP when you spawn for Fluke.
Yeah, there's just so much that you gain for the side of XSV Neon here. More Leo Beast might be down in the CS, but going to be getting a lot in terms of those plates, going to be getting a lot in terms of that role quest. And getting that role quest early on AD carries honestly a huge boon, because it means that every single minion you pick up, there's 2 more gold, right? And getting extra gold is always going to feel amazing for an AD carry trying to get to those later stages of the game as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you need to get to those items ASAP. However, it is a 2 tower plating traded back. So Kai'Sa still looking very, very good in keeping up with the gold. I'd be interested to see how much gold is the difference right now between these 2 ADCs, because it can't be much. It really, I don't think it's much at all. And I mean, even if you look at the top right, we are 100 gold difference. Even with the extra kill for XSV, we are 100 gold. This game is anybody's game one, and you love to see it. It's 400 gold actually in the favor of Ezreal. That's quite a bit towards the power spike. The biggest gold gap here is, funny enough, in that mid lane. It's that Syndra who's up 500 gold at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that extra gold does manage to net him a, oh my god, that's a dredge line.
Yeah, that's a huge dredge line. Fluke does have flash, is able to go, but the killer instinct in. 1 more hit will do it, but Fluke gets to his tower. He is feeling absolutely lovely. That's going to be a true shot barrage. There is going to be Tempered Fate. Brian and Jimumu caught in the Cyclone. Brain's going to go down. Jimumu will live, but Itaconic there at the right time. It's a great jungle pathing. Very smart. Skips that Krug camp to get to the play in time. Finds the kill on the support, and now Ruin has started to come for XSV Lust as the dragon fight turns out. It should be their dragon with Ezreal having to go back, but it doesn't look like they're going to start it. I think they are worried about how quick the rotation is. For second dragon, anybody's dragon. Of course, the dragon stacking did begin from XSV, so you would really like to pull it back if you're Akuma Spikers.
I mean, you just kind of want to, like, make sure to slow down the game a little bit. Don't go super ultra crazy, especially when the opposing team has so many of their ults available. Look at this ult economy.
Yeah, I mean, you have Unleashed Power, you have Cease and Assist, and then on the other side, Heroic Entrance is available. I mean, you have Grim Deliverance, and that's it. And Grim Deliverance isn't going to be there, most likely.
Yeah, especially after that teleport into that top lane. Fireflans is still struggling in this top side. Has no sort of healing reduction into the Aatrox, which, I'm going to be real with you, is not the reason why Fireflans is losing out on these trades. He's just taking so much more damage than Iron Blast is in a lot of these fights, purely out of, you know, the fact that Iron Blast is playing these trades extremely efficiently. In the meantime, Heppo just going to be clearing out that mid wave, understands that the teleport is coming through, and just going to try to pick up a little bit more time to play the game, to get up to the point where you can actually finish your first Lost Chapter item. Unless we're going with some crazy Lost Chapter into Rocket Belt build, but instead it is going to be the Luden's Echo, so just going to be a matter of getting that early damage down for the Syndra as quickly as possible.
Damage down is there. They do have the Swifty to try to avoid some of the big slows from that Bard, and of course try to get away from True Shot. Barrage gonna go. There's the attempt to steal. It finds it. He does find the steal. It's huge. The Cyclone is gonna get interrupted there from the Tempered Fate. However, he's in the back to Mumu. Nowhere to go. Brain caught between. Brain is going to be able to flash out of that one just barely. The Heroic Entrance is going to keep Galio alive. It doesn't really go anywhere, though. There's going to be the charge in. Akuma Fluke is in there. He is in there like swimwear, and he's found two. It is a huge fight for Akuma. They get the dragon. They find two, and none of them go down.
Not a single one of those down, and Thomas even re-engaging on less than 500 health. That Galio just absolutely ballsy with that one, just goes straight on in, just says, hey, you can absolutely play this fight. We can make this happen. I don't care if I trade my life, but I won't have to. We are going straight for that back line, and let's take a look at this one more time. So there's a steal coming in from Itaconic. The Tempered Fate makes sure that Itaconic can't actually get punished for going for that early dive, and in the meantime, it is the entirety of XSV Neon just getting surrounded, just getting put into a tough situation. And the Scatter of the Weak is humongous, but the flash away from Thomas means that this Galio gets to survive for just a little bit more, gets that magic damage shield, and goes in. Yet again, the dredge line not going to be enough, and Thomas just manages to barely walk out with his life. Heppo tries to find it, but there's no AD on that Syndra. Not going to be able to break through that magic shield anytime soon either. Fireflans just continuing to suffer in this top side, but Heppo and Thomas are having their own little tussle in the bot.
Heppo and Thomas certainly having their own tussle in the bot side. There is a lot of wards all over this map. This map is lit up like a Christmas tree right now on both sides. You get a very, very beautiful deep ward right near the red buff of XSV Lust for Akuma. Meanwhile, on the other side, there is still some pretty decent defensive vision coming out of XSV, and that really nice ward right near the pit, just on the other side of it, to catch any of those bot ganks, or maybe catch Wukong crossing over. But I do want to say, like, Akuma seems to have a slightly better vision here. It's all over the enemy jungle side. They have the tracking on Jamumu wherever they want. They definitely know right now, though, that Jamumu is on that Rift Herald. And the question is, what can Wukong do? They are currently invading some of those jungle camps. It will put them a bit ahead in tempo, which we already see about a 28 CS gap coming out of Itaconic. I'm just curious if we're going to get anything more, because right now it looks like they are about to lose that top turret between the Rift Herald and everyone coming on top. That's going to be the critical element for Fireflies. Can he get out of this dive? Kaisa hasn't even showed up to it yet, and he's staying here. He's staying. He's going to wait to die. Ezreal's going to be with the TP. We do have the Heroic Entrance coming, and Bard here. They all are here in time to dissuade that dive and keep the turret up. It's a great rotation from Akuma Spikers.
By the power invested in Fireflan's friendship, Akuma Spikers keep their top laner alive for just a little bit longer. But once again, it's not looking great on that side lane. It's, a matter of picking that top lane blind, and XSV Neon, thankfully for them, were able to not only get these counter picks, but able to create a cohesive team composition where there's just a lot that you actually can do with these. I will argue that the Syndra is in a little bit of an awkward situation, right? I was telling you earlier, Romeo, that I can definitely see the angle for the Syndra. If you just go the full utility, you go for scattering straight through that front line, so that way, their backline dives can't just trade with your backline dives, and at the same time, they don't have a way how to peel for their own backline. But instead, we do see Heppo going for that damage, right? The Blighting Jewel actually pretty early on. So Brain, on the other hand, a little bit of trouble here.
There's the taunt from Galio. Jamumu is trying to find anything, but the Cyclone is just going to spin to win. Akuma Fluke going to be able to get another kill here as mid-turret going to fall as well. That line of vision as well as the line of control for Akuma Spikers. It's getting bigger and bigger by the minute, and the gold gap is also increasing, right? We're up 2.5 thousand gold for Akuma Spikers. Thomas and Iconic both wearing bounties over their head. It does look like they're going to attempt to take it from Thomas. Here comes Jamumu. Not going to commit, though, to the cease and assist. Doesn't think his team's going to be there in time. Doesn't know where the enemy team is as well. You'll notice the vision for XSV Lust is now starting to lack. XSV Neon is now starting to lack. They have no vision in the enemy jungle. They have no clue where Wukong is. They have no clue where Ezreal is. They are going to finally try to take this mid-turret, though. That's the Tempered Fate to keep it alive, though. The Bard going to be doing everything to make that Rift Herald completely useless for XSV Neon.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that the first time you see it, it's super ultra cool. The fifth time you see it, you realize, yeah, this is kind of the standard of what we expect to see at these points. And at the higher levels of play, I'm just very happy to see these bards actually come on through. But in the meantime, we're going to have to see whether or not I'm Blast can actually get on out of here. That's a lot of people who want this Aatrox dead.
He's under the turret. No Tempered Fate up, though, to help commit to that dive. Dragon is going to be taken by XSV Neon here. It is their second Dragon. Can they commit to this? Ado going to stop the back. The stun's there. Firefly's now pushing the wave in. It has been started. I'm Blast goes to the other end of the turret, and that's going to be a clean dive. It's once again Iconic picking up the kill. The Wukong looking nasty. This monkey is on the bed, and he is not going to stop jumping. However, Thomas might be going down here. That's the Dredge Line. The TP is coming really soon. It is the Zahen. However, the shutdown does go over. However, it goes over to Jamumu, and I don't think that's who you wanted that shutdown for.
Yeah, I mean, the shutdown's definitely good on the vibe, but right now you just really want to be pumping as much gold as possible into this Kai'Sa because you just need
Dredge Line
breakpoints.
On to Zahen. Morbidly OP is getting a lot of damage off. There's the Killer Instinct. G-Mumu is here. Fireflans gone immediately. It's a great circle back. The Flash is going to come out of Ado. However, it looks like Brain isn't going to land that Dredge Line, but that turret certainly gone. It's Knights out to that bot turret, and just like that, XSV Neon is back in this game.
Yeah, you blink and you miss it. XSV Neon have their opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, I love that Heppo is taking this opportunity to actually build towards that utility.
Oh, Iconic Unleash Power! Shutdown going to come out for the Syndra. It's a big shutdown. Just like that.
Yeah, just like that, we are seeing that Crypt Bloom being built up earlier rather than later. You want to make sure that this Syndra is essentially doing true damage to some of these champions. And in the end, Heppo on the board, 2 stacks on a Dark Seal and 2 stacks closer to a Dream.
Luke going to be able to find Syndra immediately. Again, Syndra itemizing into that utility is a little bit weak. Oh my god! A Fluke landing everything. He's going to find himself a double kill on both the carries for XSV Neon, just like that. And at this point, how strong is this Ezreal? He is one-shotting carries, and if he can do that in team fights coming up, it's going to be big things. It's going to be things like Baron. It's going to be things like stacking more dragons, preventing them from getting close to Soul. Let me ask you right now. Obviously, XSV Neon is a little bit behind. Obviously, they have these utility Syndra going. And Kai'Sa is kind of their carry. With Kai'Sa being a little bit behind right now, what do you think XSV Neon needs to do to kind of find their way back in this game?
if I'm going to be completely honest with you, you need to deathball, right? You need a deathball. You need to make sure that there's a way how to take some of these people out of the game as quickly as possible. But instead, it is going to be Akuma Spikers going for that deathball. XSV Neon just hasn't had the chance to take fights on their own terms for a hot minute. And when you do deathball, you can't be deathballing Fluke. You can't be deathballing, you know, anyone when you know that Otto's in the immediate vicinity. Honestly, I think that the best target for a deathball composition right now is hitting the Galio, is hitting Thomas, because the only person who could try to save Thomas is going to be that Ezreal, not Ezreal, that Bard. But in the end, heroic entrance, tempered fate, like cyclone, it doesn't really matter what you use. There's a lot of disengage for the side of Akuma Spikers, and this is what happens when you show your hand at a dive comp very early on.
Well, you heard it straight from the horse lover's mouth. We need to hate trades. We need to make sure that XSV Neon did not grow up watching Thomas and Friends, because Lord knows they need to be chasing after that Galio and finding some picks. I think right now as well, Baron up. Akuma Spikers, if they can get this Baron, that's probably the game. Let's face it, they will have such a monumental gold gap if they can find a clean Baron. Meanwhile, on the other side, they've started stacking those dragons. Can they find the third? It's a big tempered fate. It is going to find that Syndra. However, Jimumu is there. That's the cease and desist on Iconic. Iconic taking a lot of damage, is going to be able to spin out of there. Akuma Fluke does get stunned by the Scatter of the Weak. There's going to be the Killer Instinct inwards. It's a shutdown going over to Hebo. Morbidly Obese, though, might be caught out a little bit of dew. Going to be hit by that depth charge. Here comes I'm Blast. Is going to go for the stun. There's the Ignite. Good night to Ado. And the shutdown goes over to I'm Blast. You have a very strong Aatrox to keep this game going.
Yeah, a very strong Aatrox, and if you put the Purple Worm on your team, it's a very strong team to be dealing with so much gold, so much stats, and so much of a swing after that fight. Akuma Spikers on the back foot now. XSV Neon just looking to take this Baron, but there's a lot of opponents from their opponents. And it is just so back and forth, but at the very least they're just willing to immediately drop it. Dragon's going to be coming up in 5. That's almost certainly going to be going to the side of Akuma Spikers. Hebo's build is going to give me an aneurysm. I'm just going to say it straight up. But right now, what is for certain is that Akuma Spikers are still mortal. They have those leads, they have the abilities to play the game, and they have just so much control over this river.
Scatter going to miss. True Shot Barrage misses as well. However, everyone's hopping on Brain here. Brain's going to fall immediately. There's going to be the Grim Deliverance, followed by the Cyclone. I hate to say it to you, but Cease and Desist is not going to make a difference here. Thomas going to go in. That's a double stun from the Bard. Good night. It's a double kill. I'm Blasted on the run. Isn't going to be able to find anything. Morbidly Obese disappears. And let's make it the Quadra. He's going to pop the World Under. But Fire Flans, Iconic, and Fluke are on their way. I'm Blast does get away, but at this point, the Purple Worm is going to go firmly into the loving arms of Akuma, and they are going to take this Baron and run the game. That's going to put them over 5,000 gold ahead, Anti. 5,000 gold, and potentially a Game 1 victory.
It is absolutely going to be Akuma Spikers taking that lead straight to the bank where they're going to be spending all that gold. Let's take a look at this fight one more time. True Shot Barrage goes wide, but it is Brain getting caught up early on. Grim Deliverance does so much damage in the backline. Meanwhile, Otto just distracts 3 Heppo on that backline, just trying to avoid getting dove. But Otto, again, with a beautiful stun, a beautiful tempered fate. Just make sure that not only is he able to just distract these just huge carries from the side of XSV Neon, he's also able to lock them up. Heppo right now just getting dove on, trying to survive, has to flash out Fire Flans on the back foot, but in the end, this 1-4 split push is going to be going very well for Akuma Spikers.
Yeah, it's the 1-4 split push. I'm Blast is going to have a simple job dealing with Thomas, but without I'm Blast there, every fight should just be lost here for XSV Neon. There is 1 minute and 50 seconds left on this Baron push. I'm hoping to at least see 2 of the T2s knocked down, if not any of the T3s. I expect a lot of this map to be gone. I expect the level of play here to be able to just start annihilating some of the control XSV Neon has left on this Rift. At this point, it should be a pretty simple win for Akuma Spikers, unless XSV Neon can find some huge picks. Of course, there is still that big bounty on Ezreal if you can find a good play on him. Of course, with Vi, there's a lot of lockdown to be had. But right now, you are a little bit wallet gapped. And I mean, chat is ragging on this Syndra build like there's no tomorrow. And you almost had something to say about it before we got caught up in that big fight that led to Baron. What do you... Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Cease and desist is going to come through. You don't get to talk yet, Anti. They have found Fireflies. It's one big pit with the Baron, but however, on the top side, it is going to be a big fight. It looks like I'm Blast immediately going to fall. Brain and Morbidly Obese do not have what it takes to hold this tower alone. This T2 is going to be annihilated from this Rift.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to send down multiple people in order to take out one, that's when these split pushes really, really start to come to fruition, especially when you got that purple worm going, right? Fluke, on the other hand, on this back line, just trying to survive, could be in trouble. Good dodge away.
Oh, Dratchline going to come through. Morbidly Obese in the 1v1 is going to win it. There's the shutdown they were looking for from Ezreal. Can Morbidly Obese find more? No, and Iconic is going to be there with the Cyclone. Jimumu, though, on the back, does find a do. There's going to be the scatter of the week. Brain is caught by another Cyclone, though. Double kill to Itaconic. Itaconic has been one of the sleeper carries of Akuma Spikers, and he is going to find them a winning fight, but nevertheless, it's still a big bounty picked up on that Ezreal.
Yeah, a big bounty picked up on the Ezreal here, but even bigger is the ability to delay the game for XSV Neon. They want to still have a chance to play this game. They want to still have a chance to play for the win, and they're getting the chances to turn it around. Morbidly Obese on that Kaisa, picking up that Terminus, is going to be able to do so much damage. And look at these fights, right? Just goes straight to the back line. So tanky with that Terminus, does so much damage, able to just stay barely out of range of a lot of this damage. Itaconic dashes forward and just pops this Kaisa, but Otto takes so much damage on that back line, but still continues to distract people for as long as possible. The re-engage from Itaconic to get that double kill onto Brain, and Fireflans going down once again. Otto cannot save his top laner without burning a flash of his own.
Otto is going to be caught here a little bit, but there's going to be the Grim Deliverance to help him out. Jimumu is going to take a lot of damage, but get it out of there. There's going to be the heroic entrance. It finds 4. It's a double taunt. X-Fluke still being able to hit, but the rest of his team is falling fast. There goes Thomas. It's a triple kill over to XSV Neon. They are finding the right fights here. It's going to lead to the third dragon, and a win gone has opened back up for XSV Neon.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, Morbidly Obese just able to get right into that backline. I gotta say, right, this Kaisa has been playing a lot of these fights so well, but it's because of these backline diving champions. It's because of champions like that Nautilus, champions like that Vi, like I'm Blast on the Aatrox, buying so much space and allowing this AD carry to just go as crazy as you want. And this is a build towards a Bork. That's going to be a lot of on-hit damage. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that we're not going to be seeing, you know, something like, let's say, a Nashers or something along the lines to get that W Evo, but Morbidly Obese right now doesn't really care about the W Evolve, just cares about the ability to simply do damage. In the meantime, Heppo on this top lane, continuing to build whatever his heart desires. I think I've given up on criticizing the Syndra build. But I'm Blast right now going for that 1v1 onto Fireflans, and now we're going to start to see the strength of this Zahen in the later stages of the game.
That's going to be the Fates and Seal to stop I'm Blast from being able to continue to walk forward, and I'm Blast is certainly dead here. That's the max stacks. Fireflans, I mean, if you're going to hit 12 stacks, you are going to annihilate the world. However, topside, there's a big fight coming through. A Fluke finds Morbidly Obese to open the fight. It's doomed for Neon now. Jimumu isn't going to be able to get away either. Look at the damage that Ezreal does. And Baron is 13 seconds from spawning. This could be the world's greatest toss of the game. They are caught from Fluke in the bush. It's a lack of vision that's going to set the lights out for XSV Neon, and now it's just Heppo against the world with the build that everyone hates. The stun on the minion. Good night. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be game one. They have a couple of turrets away from finding their first victory of this final series. It's a very, very solid match, but at the end of the day, Akuma found the driver's seat, they put the pedal to the metal, and they're coming home with a game one victory.
Akuma, Spikers, they've managed to do it. They went down a ridiculous amount in that game, but they still managed to claw their way back, and if that's any indication for how this series is gonna go, we are bound to find a massively fun one.
I mean, this game was incredible already. Neck and neck at times. XSV started to mount a comeback, but unfortunately at that Baron, they did kind of toss it away by Morbidly Obese getting picked by Fluke in the bush. I think one of the biggest differences we're seeing this series is the vision difference between Akuma and XSV. There is so many times that I think this Vi was just tracked the entire game, whereas there's not as much vision being used to track this Wukong. And I think Wukong did so many good things of like skipping camps and getting to these plays first, or backing up plays, preventing tower dives into a dive comp. And also, let's face it, I mean, you're playing a dive comp into Ezreal Galio. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Ezreal Galio is one thing, but I have to give huge props to Otto. Right on this Bard, somehow in some of these extremely pivotal fights is just dragging the attentions away of, you know, 1, 2, even 3 members at one point at that dragon fight where, you know, Otto just decided to put on a show, right? Managed to get as much people involved as possible. You've got the Syndra chasing you, the Kai'Sa chasing you, the Nautilus chasing you. And somehow you survive through all that, get a double stun, get a tempered fate, and then just set things up for your team. That Bard play was disgusting from Otto. And if game number 1, we said this once, we'll say it a billion times, if game number 1 says anything about how this series is going to go, this is bound to be a good one.
Yeah, it's bound to be an absolute banger, but the only way to get to game 2, of course, is to go to a short break. I'm excited to see what the drafts are. Before we go, Anti, let me ask you, who's your MVP of game 1?
I'm gonna have to give it to Otto, right? I mean, like, I think
Valid.
Itaconic did a great job with those Wukong Cyclones, did a phenomenal job at following up for a lot of things. I mean, the entire team played extremely well together. Just Otto on some of those fights was absolutely smurfing it. Either way, we're just gonna have to see what this does turn into. Y'all take care. Game number 2 is right around the corner.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our audio listeners. Akuma Spikers are up 1-0 after game 1. Of course, it's Romeo, joined by Anti, currently being produced by Sunga and observed by Darth Laser. And we're getting ready for game 2. How are we feeling, Anti?
I mean, all I'm saying is we called it at the very beginning. This is going to be a banger, right? And I think that there is nothing less that we can say about how the series has gone so far. Game number 1, super back and forth. Very, very good play from both sides. And it was just a full dive comp from the side of XSV Neon. And Akuma, on the other hand, they decided to just say, all right, you want to dive? We're just going to have one piece of bait right here in our bard where you're just going to like do everything you can to try to take down this machine of a man. But we're just going to kill the rest of your backline while you're not paying attention.
Yeah, sometimes we just annihilate the rest of their backline. Sometimes we just we go over. I mean, it's the same as World War I, right? You go over the trenches and the backline and annihilate them. And that's what we've seen. It was some good, clean League of Legends. Of course, XSV showed signs of life. There were some good cross-map plays. There were some good picks on Thomas. There were some good picks on Fireflans. There was a couple of good team fights, even down 5,000 gold. But at the end of the day, when you're down 5,000 gold, you need to not make a mistake. The other team, they need to catch you one time. And that's exactly what Akuma Spikers were able to do. They caught them at Baron. They caught Morbidly Obese out of position at Baron without vision. And I think we talk about it. I mean, Adu played great. Itaconic played great. I mean, everyone on Akuma Spikers played really good. Obviously, I think...
Sorry. Before we go forward, I need to know, is it Adu?
Adu or Ado?
Adu, or is it Ado? Like the singer?
See, I want to say
I think
Ado.
it's Ado.
I'm sorry, I want to say Adu, but that's because I'm Canadian, and I think like Adu. Like Adu. You know what I mean?
No, you're a theater student. Of course you're going to think Adu.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously. But yeah, if we can get a check on that, that would be wonderful. Because I know it's G-Moo-Moo, and I keep saying Jamumu, just because it's easier.
Rainy says it's Ado.
It's Otto? Okay, it is Otto. Okay, noted. Thank you, guys. I blame the Canadian in me. I'll just fire me now, Sams. It's okay. I understand. But yeah, I think obviously Otto played great. I think Itaconic played very well. And I think one of the biggest things, and this comes on the back of Otto and Itaconic, the vision. The vision from Akuma Spikers was phenomenal. G-Moo-Moo could go anywhere, and they knew where that vibe was. And even that very last play, like I keep saying, that Ezreal was in the bush. Morbidly Obese is taking the fight. Isn't thinking, where is that Ezreal? They're probably behind their team. Nope, Ezreal's in the bush. Bang, bang. Done. That's the match.
Okay.
Vision control.
When you're playing against a team with a Zahen, a Wukong, a Galio, and then Bard is somehow twerking all over your team, you're telling me that the problem is you forgot about the Ezreal? Like, that's so much to be keeping in mind when you're the one playing the dive comp, right? It's 100%. So difficult for XSV Neon to just play that one out. In the meantime, we're starting things off with the same bans that we had in that last game, right? It's going to be a Victor. It's going to be that Camille, going to take the Seraphine away. The Poppy was also taken away at one point. I'm pretty sure it's Mbessa on 4, right? And then it's like, what was it? I forget what the third one was, and then it was Poppy on 6.
Yeah, I believe third was... Ooh, I actually do not.
You got 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2, 1.
I'm out. What is James? My favorite champion.
Lucian. Okay, that's new. I don't think it was Lucian.
It was not Lucian. It was 100% not Lucian. I just don't remember who it was. Yeah, I'm really trying to think. I have no idea.
I totally do understand why you're banning out the Lucian here. Oh, it was Orianna. That's what it was. Right?
Yes.
So the reason... And with Orianna off the table, it means that you're not going to be prioritizing Jarvan. With Jarvan off the table, you're not going to be prioritizing Orianna, right? With Lucian off the table, you can't go Lucian Milio. So now it's going to be the Trundle, almost certainly going to be picked up as the response. I liked when Trundle was coming back, especially because I think it was literally the same exact week that I was saying Trundle is extremely underrated and should be picked more as a counter pick into champions like Xin Zhao. It's come back into its form as extremely standardized as that counter pick. But
I don't think it's that good. I think
it's solid.
I think there are better counter picks to Xin Zhao, like a Jax. Like, to be so for real.
Honestly, I don't disagree with you. The thing that Trundle does allow you to do, though, is it puts your opponent into a tough spot where they sit there and it's like, okay, so we got a Trundle on the enemy team. If we draft one tank, we are drafting a no tank composition, right?
Yes.
So that's the reason why Trundle's picked up, because it also puts the enemy team into a weird spot. Jax is a much better direct counter pick. I would agree with you, but
I think
it's the composition.
The issue with Trundle into Xin Zhao, with it being this hard counter, is that, like, Xin Zhao, if he uses his Crescent Guard correctly, Trundle doesn't get to do anything specific into him. Like, so genuinely, like, if it's a Xin 1 trick, you will beat a Trundle. There's a reason the higher elo you go, the less of a win rate Trundle has in a Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, right, is that in a competitive setting where you have 5 people in like an organized setting, right, Trundle's entire thing is about those counter ganks. So you're tracking the Xin Zhao, you're making sure that he doesn't have a chance to play the game. So one of the reasons why Ashe being taken up by Akuma Spikers is such a good pickup here, because you don't get to just track the Xin Zhao wherever. And now that you know where the Trundle's going to be going, the Trundle doesn't get a chance to just follow your Xin Zhao around everywhere. In the meantime, that's more top lane bans from Akuma Spikers because they are terrified of I'm Blast, rightfully so. So they are going to be sticking Anthony into yet another tough matchup in that mid lane with that Ryze versus Anivia, right? The Shen going to be taken up, almost certainly going to be shifted towards that support. Now you have your 0 tank composition. Do you get your 1 tank composition, or are we going with the Bruiser? It is the Darius.
I don't hate it. Because, I mean, like, you have Shen Darius. Obviously, you only get to subjugate 1. Obviously, the Shen's your main tank, but if it's going Shen support, it's not the end of the world. We do have Yorick coming into this top lane. Yorick into Darius, I mean, I think Yorick is a pretty solid pick, whether with it going to Darius. Something for me makes me lean towards the Akuma Spikers comp again. I think the Ashe, they're so good at vision. Having that Ashe tracking, I think is going to be brilliant. I think the Leona roams are going to be huge, and the Shen roams are going to be huge. Like you said, the biggest squash match, I mean, you have 2 losing solar lanes, right? Like, the Anivia is going to beat that Ryze. The Yorick should beat that Darius. I think it'd be really funny to send Darius jungle and Xin Zhao mid and Ryze top, but that's because I'm a psychopath. It won't happen. I just think it'd be funny.
Yeah, you are a psychopath. Anyway, a Moo. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
No,
it is the Anivia in the mid lane. Don't get alarmed by Heppo's cosplay over here. But one thing I will also know, right, is that the big thing that you have to worry about with this team is that Anivia Wall does a lot at shutting down not only the Ryze, but the Ashe and the Darius, right? These champions that need to find ways how to get in, how to walk forward, and don't have dashes, don't have ways over that wall without a flash, right? So you got to be very, very careful for the side of Akuma Spikers here. But at the very least, G-Mumu doesn't get a chance to play the game. This Trundle doesn't get to do much because you try to go for a counter gank. You try to make something happen. You have a Shen. You try to make sure that you're able to stay on the same side of the map as Iconic each and every time. You're getting hit by Hawkshot, right? There's just so little that G-Mumu is going to be able to do in the early stages of the game, and the later stages of the game, you have a Shen that is going to make sure your champion doesn't get to really function the way that they want to. So a lot of this game is going to be based on whether or not Heppo just gets to do whatever he wants.
Firefly's already with a big trade onto I'm Blast is going to find that full decimate and double auto combo. It's a good look at the start. Obviously, Trundle starting top side, Zinza starting bot side. Like we said, Trundle really good at tracking the Xin and trying to match its pathing. And obviously, we're already starting on opposite sides of the lane. Very nice to see. I also think Xin is going to be trying to buy out this Darius until that Ashe hits level 6, right? We're trying to get the Darius out of the losing matchup, get him an early kill, and make sure that matchup ends up being very Darius favored rather than having a split pushing Yorick. I think one of the other things with Akuma Spikers this match is obviously split push comps are huge, but when we get to high elo, split push comps can be very, very risky. There's a lot of team fighting around objectives. Yorick, you're screaming for that split push, you're screaming for that delay, and we have Auto Auto. There we go. We have Auto.
Yeah.
Ready to go in. Ready for that Chen ultimate on the side if Yorick is decimating a 1-for-1. And then also if we're taking the matchups, we have Realm Warp, right? We can have that Rise come mid and then Realm Warp to prevent the split push afterwards. So we have a lot of ways of answering this split push so that it doesn't get to be too dominant as long as we're not losing for.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll also note here, right, is that it is going to be the Ignite Darius. It is going to be the Storm Raiders Darius. So a lot of this early, move speed allows you to make sure that you're not going to get trapped in the baby cage against Yorick. You're not going to be stuck in a fight for any longer than you have to. So at the very least, there's a lot to think about for the side of Fireflans. Meanwhile, Morbidly Obese, with that Talia, is bound to just continue to shove out these waves. There's very, very little that Fluke and Otto can actually do to make sure that this wave doesn't just go straight into the tower, but I'm Blast in a lot of trouble.
I'm Blast, there is just the Darius, it's the Ignite, it's the Flash forward. I'm Blast still hasn't used that Flash. There it is, flashes the Decimate at the very end there. The Bleed gonna do a lot of damage, going to be forced to back and already you've burnt everything from my Blast. The exhaust is down. The Flash is down, and Darius is feeling very, very good. I think one interesting thing, though, we're seeing the exhaust out of Yorick and not a TP or an Ignite. What are our thoughts on that? Break that down for me.
I mean, honestly, it makes sense, right? You know that the Darius is probably going to be taking something like Storm Surge. You know that he's going to try to, just run circles around you. If you can slow him down, if you can reduce a little bit of his damage, you make sure that it's going to take a little bit longer for him to actually get to the point where things are lethal. You can disengage. You can find your way out of these things. If you do just go for a teleport on a champion where you're not planning on team fighting anyway, that is a very, very selfish kind of a teleport, right? Like, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, in these coordinated 5v5s, right, if you understand that your opponent only cares about lane,
big wall,
just go for lane.
Thomas is going to get caught on the pillar.
Oh!
Flashes through it last second. Gets the stun under turret. G-Mumu barely going to live, but there's the flash from Iconic. Good night. The wind becomes lightning. He's going to land on Heppo now. There's the egg. Can they finish in time? They almost certainly can. That's going to be egg prop. It's huge. He drops the Raptors, and he finds a double kill. Iconic Thomas running this rift.
And G-Mumu had such a beautiful pillar. The wall into pillar just looked so good, but the flash comes on through, and Thomas just turns it right round, baby, right round brain, trying to pick the chickens up from Iconic. But this Jin Zhao is hungry, and with 2 kills under his belt, he is well on the way towards that Sunder Sky. And let's take a look at this one more time. Like, Heppo manages to get the wall just in time to just slow things down for Thomas. Thomas pops the ghost, tries to walk away, gets trapped on the pillar, but flashes away at just the right time. Not enough mana for Heppo to follow up for the kill either. And those eggs are not going to be doing anything for your survivability.
And the jungle tracking, man. The jungle tracking is just not there. If you know Iconic's in that pit, you don't step up for that tower, right? Iconic being in that Raptors pit, getting that tempo advantage is what's keeping that alive. And I think one of the interesting things there, as it's in main, is oh, wait a minute. There's going to be a huge taunt from Otto. There's going to be going forward. Fluke finds the kill on Morbidly Obese. There's the Realm War Brain. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to hide. It's just a hole in the ground to die. And it's going to go over to Fluke.
Yeah, and Thomas just getting involved in this bot lane, just making this Rise pick as high value as possible. In the meantime, Fireflans and I'm Blast just kind of going toe-to-toe with one another. The moment that Storm Surge does go down, I'm Blast can just put up that baby cage and do a bit of damage. Heppo, what is going on here? How did you find yourself under tower?
The turret. There's going to be the 3-talent strike. Nighty night in Iconic. Going to find the kill, but Fireflan's going to be taking a little bit of tower shots as well. I'm Blast going to find the first kill in the top lane. Right now, it's the only hope for XSV, who are already down 3,000 gold.
I have no idea how both of these champions managed to find themselves stuck in a baby cage under a tower, but it is not looking great for either of them. Heppo struggling in that mid lane, going to that early lost chapter, almost certainly going to be that Malignance Anivia. Meanwhile, Fireflan's on that Darius, just trying to build up to that Yomu's Ghostblade as quickly as possible. Still going to be able to put out quite a bit of pressure in this side lane, but the question is, are you going to be able to put enough pressure out that the Yorick has to follow you, or are you going to be the one trusted to follow that Yorick around and stop him from taking all your towers? In the meantime, the biggest question becomes, what is this bot lane going to do, right? Morbidly Obese on that Talia, not a bad champion per se, but just I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to do in this team composition when your primary source of physical damage is bound to be hitting a turret on the other side of the map.
Yeah, really, your only damage is coming out of that Trundle for AD. And with Subjugate, it helps. But let's face it, something as small as, I don't know, a Spirit Visage on a Darius or a Xin a Force Nature, even a Jackjo, even an early Negatron Cloak on Shen, right? Like, you get an early Negatron Cloak. What are they doing to you? Nothing. Merc Treads have so much value in this game as well, coming from literally anyone. There is so many ways right now to reduce the AP damage. Negatron Cloak, genuinely one of the highest value items in this mage meta. It's really, really insane, especially in a game like this. However, Brain is going to find the stun on Xin Zhao. They tried to go for this Dragon. They tried to go for a bit of a Dragon Stick. The Wind becomes Lightning finds you. Look at the damage it did to Heppo. Heppo should finally have their egg back. However, Brain, it's lights out. This game, this is one of the most dominant series we have seen from Akuma Spikers this entire season.
Yeah, I mean, Akuma Spikers is the epitome of DW we scale, but when it comes to entire seasons, as an organization, they always pop off during playoffs, right? They came into this playoff season 5th seed, and they are showing us exactly why they're still an org to be feared, why they're still a team that you have to worry about. Firefly's able to get out of that baby cage just in time.
That's gonna be the Noxious Guillotine, and with Otto coming to the top lane with the Stand United, it is gonna help Fireflies find the kill. This is one of the most OP things about Shen support. With that split pusher, it doesn't matter how ahead I'm Blast is, because he's never truly in a one-on-one. It's always a 2-for-1 when that Shen has Stand United.
Yeah, I mean, Shen right there just going to be able to make sure that it's always unfair. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Romeo, right? Where Otto on that Shen is always going to be able to make things unfair, whether it be for the Yorick, whether it be for that Trundle. It's so, so difficult. In the meantime, Chimumu able to pick up these grubbies as compensation, but Thomas and Fireflans walking on up.
It's scouted, and the third grub is going to go to Akuma Spikers, and that's huge. I mean, I get that we hate grubs as an objective. Most people are saying don't take grubs. Most people in, like, Masters Challengers will say grubs is a garbage objective to take, and you should just go for your camps. However, with a Yorick that I don't even know what happened, bot. Fluke is going to annihilate Morbidly Obese. It's good for I'm Blast, but without 3, it loses so much value. 2 grubs, I mean, is the true damage really relevant? Almost never.
Yeah, I mean, right now, at the very least, you see Thomas and Heppo just kind of going toe-to-toe. I will say here, right, so Malignance Rush for Anivia is something that's been a lot more talked about lately. It's pretty nice. It's, I don't know whether or not you want to be going Malignance Rush without Electrocute.
Oh, there's going to be a flash pull. Here comes the Decimate from Firefly's third attack. Fourth, one more will do it. There's the bleed procs. A lot of damage going through, but Thomas, with that Realm Roar rotation, is there for I'm Blast, and I'm Blast just sits there, sits down, accepts his fate. How do you split push when there's always another laner in your lane?
Have you tried doing your best?
And what is that just doing your best?
There's really not an answer here, right? In the meantime, Heppo just struggling in this mid lane. And as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by Akuma Spiker just kind of rolling over this game. Yeah, I don't know. Malignance Rush is honestly relatively standard nowadays, but you do still need tier for a lot of those, right? The Rod of Ages is a little bit too long but tier's still pretty high value. But instead, we're just going to be relying pretty heavily on these blue buffs. So it was that taunt flash from Otto into that enchanted crystal arrow. So Fluke and Otto just see an opportunity. They manage to just take down that Talia immediately. You know, in the words of a mighty man, see a need, fill a need, right? You just have the need to get as much gold into your AD carry's pockets as much as possible, and you just go straight on for it. There's no reason not to commit that flash. Otto right now just continuing to be a menace for the entirety of the team, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through.
Great Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and Brain is almost certainly dead here. The flash... that you don't flash there. You know you're a goner. Just let them kill you. Save your flash for something else. Now you're a flashless Leona. 12 minutes of the game when your team's already down 6,000 gold. Morbidly obese. You guys got no vision. You can't walk there. It's lights out again. Once again. Look how dark the map is. Look how dark the map is for XSV Neon. There's nothing. There is no wards on this map. You got one in the bot river and that's it. That is your entire vision for your team. You can't walk anywhere without being at risk.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing what they can, but what they can isn't very much. Thomas and Heppo still going toe-to-toe here. Remember, Anivia is one of those champions that you pick up as the reason to why you cannot be blind picking Rise without devoting some bans to it in this meta, but they did not devote a single mid lane ban to XSV Neon. They said, I don't care if you're picking Anivia. I don't care if you're picking Cassiopeia. The Rise will go crazy regardless. The Youmuu's Ghostblade is finished for Fireflan, so he's able to just clear out these waves as quickly as possible, but in the meantime, Secret Agent Otto in the bot lane being a sneaky ninja for once in his life, but not going to be able to get much in terms of the engages, but there's the wave set up. Thomas not going to be able to get much off the roam, but the dragon is certainly going into the pockets of Akuma spikers.
Yeah, it's that second dragon. They already have the Cloud Dragon for the increased movement speed. The increased attack damage and ability power going to go over into their pockets with how far they are ahead. It's just an easy objective take. That's already a 7,000 gold gap into their pockets. Meanwhile, G-Mumu, he gets a Rift Scuttle. He gets a Rift Scuttle and maybe a top dive. We do see 3 going over for it. Rise is on the rotate. Fireflans knows he's in a rough position here. The Subjugate isn't going to go just yet. That's going to be a double. Decimate. There's the Stand United. G-Mumu goes down first. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow isn't going to land, but you know what is going to land? It's Thomas. Thomas has found the landing. He's stuck it. It's not Mayday anymore. I'm Blast not even able to find Thomas. Flash forward does get the last right, but it's a double. It is a double. Can he make it a triple? I'm Blast could be huge here. Otto trying to get away. Meanwhile, we see in the bottom left, it is a rush forward. There is a very scared Zinzo is going to be able to blast code out just in time. Shout out to our producers. Beautiful camera work there.
Yeah, and I'm Blast roars to life there, able to pick up that triple kill 1v3. Fireflans just does not opt to go for that Noxian Guillotine a little bit early, right? If you had managed to pull it off, maybe then your mid laner can get that kill. Maybe, you know, your support can actually seal the deal. But in the end, I'm Blast on this Yorick, showing exactly why there was priority.
I got some bad news for you. Here comes Itaconic, Fireflans, and Otto. The insane trio. Make it X-Fluke as well. Good night, I'm Blast. G-Mumu is like, oh, I was gonna help you, but your entire team's here. I'm gonna go away. This is awkward. I thought it was a one-on-one special. I didn't mean to third wheel or anything. I'm just gonna go hang out with my friends in the Raptor camps. Awkward. Yeah. Meanwhile, bot side, look at this. Look at this. Thomas just walking all over Morbid Beast. I got bad news. One mage in the mid is gonna beat the mage in the bot, and it's a simple kill over.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not one of those champions named Cassiopeia or Anivia, good luck having any sort of fights into a Rise. In the meantime, Fluke in a lot of trouble.
There's going to be the big fight. It's going to go over. G-Mumu is getting a lot of damage with that Subjugate onto Fluke, and it's a shutdown that's going to go over. The question is, can Otto get away? Itaconic here for the rescue. He might be able to turn this into a double kill. G-Mumu certainly going to go down. There's the wind become lightning on a 2. G-Mumu almost gets away, but Iconic is there. Crescent Guard going to do a ton of damage onto Brain, and it's lights out. Iconic going to save the play and claim a T1 mid-turret trouble.
Yeah, and once again, it's just Akuma Spikers just taking an inch and going straight for the full marathon. And with that, Rift Herald into the mid lane, even more gold into the pockets of this bloodthirsty support that is Otto on the Shen. But I mean, I just gotta say, Romeo, right? There's just so much play coming through for the supported members of the team. And while Otto is going to be going down here,
Wait, he could get away. Never mind, the shutdown does go through. But once again, Iconic there with Fluke. The slows go live. The volley's keeping them down. There's going to be the audacious charge in. Heppo goes down. Wind becomes lightning. It's going to spell disaster for Heppo. However, Zin, I mean, it's 3 men. It's just 3 men on top of 1, and it's light work. Thomas is going to be able to claim that top T1 on the top of the map, trying to get a little bit more Realm Warp in the wave to try to get the T2 as well. It's a great Realm Warp here, and it should be able to get him most of the plating. No one's even backing for it yet. The TP, I don't believe, is available for Iron Blast. It should be for Morbidly Obese. Yeah, Morbidly Obese is going to be able to use. They're going to try to take the bottom T1, which they should be able to get for free here. It's a lot of trading happening, but nevertheless, there's still 6,000 gold down. Chat's calling it. They're saying that Yorick is the win con, and to some extent they're right. But Yorick, again, there's so many answers to it. There's an enchanted crystal arrow onto that Yorick. Fireflan's gonna get subjugated, but the Decimate is gonna keep him alive for even longer. Can he find the Noxian Guillotine? That's 5 stacks, but he's not able to hit it in time. G-Mumu is gonna be able to find Fireflans. There's gonna be a really awkward Zenith Blade in. His team was not expecting that, but G-Mumu is there to help. They've turned around to try to help. Otto going to go back to his turret. Meanwhile, Iconic on the top side of the map, just farming his camps, did not elect to go to this play, and that means the T1 is certainly.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking so beautiful. The Sand United was committed. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow landed directly onto Iron Blast, but there's that exhaust counterplay that we were talking about earlier, Romeo. I mean, you asked, hey, why the exhaust? What are your thoughts on that? The thoughts are, it's pretty good if you're just trying to shut down one person in particular. And Fireflan's just not getting a chance to play the game there in the end. Thomas, the biggest winner for the side of Akuma Spikers, while in the meantime,
oh my
Otto
God,
going straight
Otto does
on
so
in.
much damage, so does Fluke. I'm Blast was able to get on top of Fluke, though, and find the kill. Iconic, that Crescent Guard isn't doing as much as he would like. That Yorick is very strong, and I think one of the problems Akuma Spikers is having is that they are getting Death Ball to some success right now. The Death Ball is earning them. The 7k gold lead is now down to a 5k. They're most likely going to lose Dragon without being able to help their ADC. Brain is caught a little bit, but to be honest, I think Otto has put himself in a very risky position. That's going to be the Zenith Blade in. They are able to find that Shield of Daybreak, and now with the knockback, Otto is going to fall, but Fireflans thinks the fight's winnable. Iconic is there this time. I'm Blast on the runaway. Brain is going to die for his sins, most likely. One more winds become lightning will do it. It does. It finds two. The double slow is there. G-Mumu is slowed. Enchanted Crystal finds and kills the G-Mumu, and now Heppo is there to try to help, but it might be a little bit too late. Thomas almost going down. He does, but it's going to be traded for the life of Heppo. That Noxian Guillotine is able to put in the finishing work. 3 members back for Akuma. 2 there for XSV. And now Morbidly Obese. You can't walk there. There's no vision. You know Fluke's nearby. And now you are in 7-7 to Leah.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna be a James Bond anytime soon, but Morbidly Obese just tries to take on the mission, does not manage to fulfill that. And I gotta say, Thomas, what in the world on that rise, just able to free hit for such a long time in that fight, just constantly able to fire off the skills, constantly able to fire off the skill shots, and constantly able to just weave in and out of the fight. Just look at this one more time, right? So Otto gets engaged on, got hit with a Zenith Blade, got stunned up. There's so much there. That's one EQ across the team. That's a second one across the team. A third one across the team. Thomas just able to constantly free hit this entire time. Fireflans gets on out. Itaconic looks for an opportunity to get back in. Flash forward from Thomas, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow picks up G-Mumu, and they just turn it around to take him out in just a short amount of time. Itaconic does go in to fully avenge his mid laner, but Thomas on that rise did, I'm almost certain, at least 15k in that fight, and Morbidly Obese just walks up a tiny bit too much. Auto forced to flash out, but gonna be able to disengage. Thomas, on the other hand, in deep in enemy lines.
Realm Warp, good night. He even gets a little bit of damage off on the tower. He gets away. Thomas is just doing insane things with his rise. He's been so impactful. We gotta talk about something, though. We gotta talk about Hippo again. Hippo, bot, just look at the item. Look at the tier.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, right? The tier is a necessity. We want to be.
We bought it 3 years late. We bought it 3 years late. We bought it 3 years late.
I mean, at this point, at this point, I feel like if we just sit here, just criticizing Heppo's builds, we're gonna be here all night. But what I will say is that this Baron take, very, very good from the side of XSV Neon. They understood they had an opportunity, they had a window, they had the chance to go straight for it. That is going to be a mildly early recall that didn't get the Baron buff on it in that bush, but in the end, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and nobody in trouble just yet. Heppo just getting a little bit of damage on Itaconic, not really going to get any crits on those E's yet.
There's going to be the Solar Flare. Crescent Guard is going to be popped to try to keep him alive, but nobody there to really help. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does go through onto G-Mumu. Heppo is in the back. Addo with a 3-man taunt does get the egg proc. There goes Brain. Morbidly Obese is going to go down. Darius has popped off. Screw the Baron if your whole team goes down.
If the win condition is your Yorick, what do you do when he's not there? The answer, my friend, is die. Right? And Otto, right now, just dashing right out of the tower. There's one member to stop 5. Can I'm Blast make a miracle happen? Doesn't even want to attempt it. And once again, Akuma Spikers just taking every single opportunity for themselves.
Every single opportunity. That Baron buff is now only on Yorick. We went 4 men. 4 men entered the jungle. Not a single one left alive, and you have Baron buff. And like that begs the question: why are we going for picks in the jungle when we have Baron? You empower waves. Baron is useless in the jungle. It does nothing for you. But right now, they're going for a play on Fireflans. Weaver's wall forward. Fireflans might try to trade Morbidly Obese. There's the flash. Dodges the knockback. And he's just going to go for the single kill. Is going to get the bleed off there. Is going to be the kill. Fireflans turns a 5v1 into a single kill for himself. The shutdown going to go over to G-Mumu. They don't even give it to someone like Heppo or I'm Blast. It goes over to the Trundle.
It does go over to the Trundle, but at this point, you don't even care who it's on. As long as it's not on Brain, you are going to be able to get some sort of value off of getting gold onto anyone on your team here. So XSV Neon, they do a death ball. They manage to get one. So it's at the very least going to be, you know, net positive for them. And sometimes that's really all you can ask for, right? You know, you're down almost 10,000 gold. I believe that's what, 8,000 gold right now. So they're just trying to find a way how to get their carries online, how to get their carries back in the game, how to get their carries into a position where you can actually play. I'm Blast in a lot of trouble, has to flash on out. And once again, both Fluke and Thomas just heading up the front side of these fights. Heppo managing to take a tower down in the mid lane, but with Infernal dragging on for one more time, one more till that soul, and this is going to be the Chemtech soul available for Akuma Spikers.
There's going to be the immediate engage on a G-Mumu. Fluke going to be able to hit for Flea. The glide is insane. Heppo doesn't have the egg anymore and is already down to 1 hit. Thomas trying to get on Heppo. We know the rest of the team is lighting them up. I'm Blast is down. Yorick goes bye-bye. Morbidly Obese thinks they can run. I hate to break it to you. You are an 0-9-9 Talia, there is nothing you can do. You're on 2 items right now. That's it. And the march into the base like we've seen in game 1 is here. Only this time they're 8,000 gold up. Morbidly Obese is going to stop the wave, though. He keeps the game alive a little longer.
Yeah, just a little longer. Still does have the wall available if he does want to use it to get on out. But right now, right, that Chemtech Soul is going down. It's a matter of trying to pick up as many things as you can. Gonna be getting spotted out by Thomas, but it's very, very difficult to catch a Talia like this, especially when she does have the ultimate available. It's gonna ult away to safety, but Morbidly Obese keeps the game alive for just a little longer. Might be 0-9-9 on that Talia, but God, is this man doing his best?
I mean, he's doing his best. He's doing his best. That's Chemtech Soul, though. Chemtech Soul. Let's face it, it's not flashy, but it wins games. It wins games. It is 13% increased damage reduction and damage on below 50% HP. But go, like, just look at this. I mean, what do you even do here? I mean, Fluke is gliding. Thomas is just on the side, annihilating people. And meanwhile, you're all grouped up for a Crescent Guard, which is insane current health damage. And Fireflans is just going to do what he does with that Decimate, right? There's an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It's immediate lights out. 10th death for Morbidly Obese. 0-10 power spike, but unfortunately the game's going to end before you hit it. Brain, nowhere to run. Yoink. Yoinkadoodles. Hey, I mean, for sure the Subjugate keeps you alive, but you don't do damage, so you're not going to be able to get a kill there with Trinity Force Deadmans. There's the Realm Warp. Thomas is just going to commit to it. Good night to G Moo. Heppo on the side, can't really do anything. They're going to try to pull one back just for the name of the game, just for the love of it. We get the shutdown, I guess, but at the end of the day, your game 2 is over. This one is all but done. I'm Blast is trying to carry. Wait, I'm Blast. Triple kill. Resurrect.
Yeah, and Fluke goes down into the tower.
Heppo gets Fluke. Wait!
I'm Blast still has the chance to play this.
I'm Blast is doing everything under the sun. He's throwing everything at it and the kitchen sink. Iconic is going to go on Heppo, but I'm Blast is staying on top. However, here it comes, the Noxian Guillotine. Firefly here. Heppo finally getting some work in, though. There's going to be the shutdown. Heppo going to get the sun as well. Morbidly Obese going to try to do some stuff. Fireflans, can he get on top? No, he can't. There's the fling backwards. Fireflans goes down. They keep the game alive.
Like, they keep the game alive. I thought for a second that the shield that was coming through was a Stand United, but I realized Otto was still dead, right? I mean, Akuma Spikers, they bite off a little more than they can chew. They think to themselves, they have the opportunity, they have the play, they have the ability to just make it all happen, but you cannot play around with that big of a margin of error. Otto going to be going in onto Brain here, going to try to lock him up, but Thomas only cares about the wave.
Thomas only cares about the wave. But Fluke only cares about landing these arrows for maximum root time, and it lands on Jamumu. Brain does go in on Fluke. There's going to be the toss back. Fluke does go down. They trade the Leona, and that's it. Another winning fight for XSV Neon.
Yeah, another winning fight in Heppo now with 3 items under his belt is
Weaver's
doing
wall.
a lot of damage on the Anivia.
Where
but
did
Thomas,
they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? They disappeared. Thomas is here. Why did we do that? We turned a winning fight into a losing one for no reason.
Yeah, and Iconic just tries to catch on to Heppo early on. No Blast Cone available. This Anivia is certainly going down. One more auto will do it. Not quite going to be able to do it just yet. One Audacious Charge is not going to land. Mega Cone over to that Anivia.
Yoink. Go for it. Wind become lightning. And Anivia... Okay, fine, Wall. Ruin my dreams. It's okay. Stand United going to come forward. They're looking to end anyways. 3 men into the base. We stopped the Anivias back long enough. Akuma has finally said, we're done playing games. We're here to knock down your Nexus turret. Or is the last stand going to be successful another time? It looks like they're leaving the base and they're saying, fine. You don't want us to end? We'll go Baron. We are still 5.7k gold up. They have lost a little bit of their gold, but they still have soul. Worst comes to worst, they Baron and Elder. The only way Neon finds a win is off a crazy Elder steal or a crazy Elder fight or a crazy pick before Elder. They need to coin flip Elder to win the game. Is Spikers going to let that happen? Can Neon pull off the upset of the century? Will everyone's internet connection stay intact? Find out now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, Romeo, anything can happen. Morbidly Obese has a kill now, right? I mean, it's just so resilient from the side of XSV Neon. They get one opportunity. They take that mid tier 2, and Otto looking for a flank on that Shen. Firefly's looking for just the front door onto this Trundle.
A big engage from Fireflans and Otto, but meanwhile in the back there is a very dead Thomas stuck in a cage. Fluke though gonna be able to stay alive a little bit longer. Meanwhile in the back line, Iconic tearing the house down. Blast isn't gonna be able to go anywhere. You might have lost your carries, but Iconic and Fireflans are doing what friends are for. It is the Fire Friends. It is the Iconic duo. Heppo and Morbidly Obese, the only two alive, and I mean they have no gold. They have no items. They have barely a stacked Seraph's Embrace. Iconic is here for the win. No flash up, though. Elder, 55 seconds responding. Baron still available. I imagine this is just an Elder fight for the game. If Akuma Spikers somehow lose this fight from 6,000 gold up, Neon probably take the game. But, I mean, if Neon dies, which is more than likely, Akuma Spikers win. It's all going to come down to this fight over Elder. If there's any griefing, Neon has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Akuma Spikers, they had everything in their pockets. They had everything handed to them. It looked like a done deal so many times in a row. But once again, it is going to be the AP carries coming in for XSV Neon, able to just clear out these waves, able to make these ends nigh impossible. Heppo on this Anivia, Morbidly Obese on this Talia, just able to do so much work at slowing this game down once again, over and over and over again. We see them beginning to believe. We see them beginning to have an opportunity. We see them trying to make a play. But Akuma Spikers now with the Elder Dragon available. What are you going to do?
Wait, the chase is on Thomas. Thomas stole the blue up. There's going to be the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but no follow-up engage just yet. They are continuing on the side. It is Fireflans pushing the wave in mid. Knows that they're going to have to answer it soon or try to engage in his fellow teammates. It looks like the call is on Thomas, but Brain is the one caught. It might be Brain for Thomas. There's the going golden. Thomas, though, is going to go down. Fireflans taking the inhib. You see 4 recalls there. 3 of them stopped. 4 of them stopped. I'm Blast is going to commit to the fight. Fireflame is ending, guys. Fireflame is ending. You would see the bottom corner. There is Fireflame. They're trying to take the fight. Can they win in time, or will the back be stopped? You see Ash trying to stay. Blast is back in the bush. Do they have it scouted? There's the TP. Turret 1 has already fallen. The teleport does go through. Fireflame versus I'm Blast is there. Iconic still alive. How long will that last? G-Mumu, the counter pick, is finally there. Can he kill Iconic with the Leona? The answer is most certainly. Fireflames did go down. Can he get anything back? Iconic, no! Iconic, he's doing so much. The wall griefed it! The wall griefed it! The wall griefed it! The wall griefed it! The wall griefed it!
And Iconic manages to take down 2 extremely important members. The Elder, all of a sudden, no longer becomes an opportunity. And Fireflans was looking for that end. Fireflans was looking for that one opportunity, that one chance to make something happen. But XSV Neon somehow managed to keep winning these fights, somehow managed to keep this game going, somehow managed to keep on surviving, to keep the dream alive. Otto now in the jungle trying to catch any stragglers. Heppo in trouble now, sees that blast cone, that vision cone, just trying to make sure that there's no chance of dying in an early fight. Otto now in trouble, just has to shadow dash away, but once again, this Elder is such a bloody sight for every single one of these team fights, and the minions are just barreling down that mid lane. XSV Neon have to make sure that it just continues to stay safe. Morbidly Obese dashes on forward. This could be huge.
Crystal arrow. Murktred's doing so much to prevent that arrow from doing anything. The big difference in this fight is that mid inhib gone. Both Nexus turrets gone. You have to answer way quicker this time. X-Fluke getting a lot of damage off onto G-Mumu already. Oh, Shen's ending! Shen's ending the game! Shen and Thomas are ending the game! They can't back! They don't have TP! Jen and Thomas, Otto and Thomas are going to end the game, and there's nothing XSV Neon can do. The back door was wide open. They broke in. That's game 2 for Akuma Spikers.
And Akuma Spikers, with the hugest lead we've seen in this series so far, still managed to cross the finish line with not but one, but 2 members of their team just realm warp directly into the base, hitting that nexus as much as they can. The fact that that game goes all the way to Backdoor City is a terrifying prospect for both of these teams.
I don't understand. So game 1 felt like really amazing play from both teams. Game 2, I mean, Akuma Spikers ran the game. They gave everything, and then the 25-minute mark hit, and Neon started playing from behind, and then
welcome to the circus, Romeo. Here we are, grand finals of Ascendant League, and in the end, there is nothing you can say but what the hell was that?
The Anivia wall. My brain broke. My brain I didn't know what to say. My brain shut down when I seen that Anivia wall give Zin. I actually think Spikers win the game if Anivia doesn't save Xin Zhao's life. What a match in the worst way and the best way possible. That was entertaining. Game 1 said we were going to get a banger of the series. It's been a banger 2 games, but right now Akuma Spikers do find themselves 2-0. Almost a throw, but they find themselves 2-0 going into game 3. XSV has gone 5-game series twice now. They have lost 5-game series twice now. They lost in Olympus. They lost in Sentinels. Both games went the distance. Is it going to happen again where they go the distance, or are they just going to lose 3 finals in a row? They're in 6 finals right now. Will this be a 3rd loss for them? The only way to find out is by staying with us. And if you stay with us, we got player awards coming before next game. So stay tuned if you want to know who your MVPs were in this split. And we will see you in a few minutes' time. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. We're getting ready to go into game 3. Akuma Spikers on game point. XSV Neon, a long hill to climb if they don't want to join their sister teams in losing another final. But before we get into the game 3 draft, Anti, we've had a hell of a season here at Ascendant. And it's time we take a look back at what our MVPs of the season are. Let's cue that graphic. Ladies and gentlemen, your MVPs of the season. Anti, why don't you walk us through it?
All right, in that top lane, we have I'm Blast, which, as you can see throughout this entirety of this series, is such a huge member for not only XSV Neon, but across the entirety of the split, of the entirety of the league, has been a ridiculously strong top laner. 50 Cal Taco from Zafa and Pal is going to be taking up that slot in the jungle. Pumpkin in the mid lane from what I believe was TMG Flash. I mean, TMG Flash with Pumpkin and Fun Phoenix in mid and support were just... It was actually so much fun to watch this team just go crazy with it sometimes. And Morbidly Obese on that AD carry slot. I mean, I do like that these players are getting a chance to pick not only their favorite champions, but also their favorite skins. Snow Day Bard is just a real nice touch here. But also, the lock pickup for Pumpkin is telling.
I want to sue. I want to sue now. I hate it. I hate lock.
It's
hate
okay.
That champion.
It's okay. Pumpkin was also the MVP for the entirety of the split, and you can see that's not Locke. That is, in fact, an SSG Talia.
And then, of course, the runner-up, Heppo.
Which
Heppo.
I have to say, right? Heppo, as far as his play has gone, his play has been honestly totally fine. Your builds, man. I need you to lock in. I want to see some bangers. Let's go crazy with it. Let's not forget to tier this game. But in the end, we have some other members here. Like, Akuma takes up a lot of the second all-pro team, right? Fireflance and Itaconic on their Lien in the AD carry position. Oh, Snapski for the support. Third all-pro team, we got Rainy Zohair, Mark Boots, I Will Glide, and Jasmine Wolf. So once again, right, there's just so many good players throughout the entirety of this split, and we're glad to be able to highlight as many of them as we can. But I want to be able to see all of them playing at their best when they're on screen. So now, what could be the last game of the finals is going to be here with us. And Heppo, you gotta lock in, man.
Gotta lock in, Heppo. We know what you can do. If anything, the runner-up MVP proves we know what you can do. I'm Blast has been decimating his lane. We can see why he's first pro there. Morbidly Obese hasn't been finding the angles as well. We've had 3 of the best players in Ascendant not be able to find their way through, but this is the thing. XSV, they've already had 2 5-game series. They're no shying away from late game playoffs. Let's see if they can pull it back for a game 4. The only way we can tell is by going to the draft. I'm hoping I didn't just say that and the draft isn't available. I'm assuming draft is either ready to go or ready to go shortly. Is there anything we're expecting? Is there any crazy picks you're hoping for? Anything that you're hoping changes going into this next draft?
Okay, so those are 2 different things, right, Romeo? Because you're asking me, are there things that I'm hoping for and there are things that I'm expecting? And these are very different things, right? So when it comes to things that I am hoping for, I am hoping for, some team compositions that make sense in their own way without having to rely purely on what the enemy team does, right? So a lot of the times when you are on red side, you find yourself having a very reactive composition. When you find yourself on blue side, you have yourself doing a very proactive composition where it's like, this is what we want to do. You now have to build something against it. And whether it's blue side or red side, that's generally how things tend to go, right? And that's just how things do break down. That's first or second pick, doesn't matter if it's red or blue side, but here at Titan Esports, blue side is first pick, red side is second pick. Not going to go crazy with that. Anyway, what I do expect to see is either an Orianna or a Jarvan ban, a Lucian ban, taking away these champions that have so much strength behind them, have so much versatility, like that Ambessa, right? And like that Seraphine. And there's just so many things that they can do. I will say, if Akuma do get blue side here, they might just first pick a Seraphine if it's open. If not, Nocturne is also on the table, but I expect to see these bans, right? It's going to be a Victor, it's going to be a Camille, it's going to be a Seraphine, Ambessa, and then it's going to be something a little different in the third one. So I'm going to expect it to be the Lucian if they're not planning on picking it up, and then it's going to be either the Jarvan or the Orianna on the side of XSV Neon. So I don't know, we might see some Poppy, we might see some versatility here, but as far as Akuma's concerned, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I gotta ask, you say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. XSV electing to go red 3 times in a row. Do you think that's the correct call?
Honestly, I don't hate it, right? I think that the last game wasn't their fault as far as the draft is concerned. I think that there were a few moments where they were just simply outplayed, right? Like, a lot of the times your team just isn't quite able to do what they want to do. There we go, exactly the bans we were talking about. They're not going to be taking up the Lucian, so the Jarvan is going to be banned away, so no Orianna priority, so probably going to be like a Nocturne or something. Senna actually going to be the one taken up here, a very strong
Senna Tom
champion.
Kench?
It could be a Senna Kench. There's a lot of things that you can pair the Senna with, but what this also means is you have to be worried about a bunch of bruisers coming in from Akuma. So we're seeing the Senna, we're fighting back with, we're seeing the Senna over here, we're fighting back with a super long range AD carry like that Caitlyn on the side of XSV Neon, because you don't want to lock yourself into a Jhin without knowing whether or not the enemy team actually has tanks. So Caitlyn Lux, and on the other side, we're going to start getting a bunch of frontliners so that way you can dive forward with that Senna, make her useful, make her known. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered.
Okay, the Olaf coming out. It's a flex pick, but we've seen it piloted by Fireflans before. I will say the last time we've seen it piloted by Fireflans, it did not go well. Karma going to be the pickup. Senna Karma. Unless it's a Karma mid.
I have to say it, Romeo. I love this so many teams
Garner.
are terrible with Olaf. So many teams are disgustingly bad with Olaf. And it's not because their Olaf players don't know how to play the game. It's not because their Olaf players aren't in a good matchup. It's because they don't set up a team comp that allows Olaf to succeed. Karma, Senna, two champions that do incredibly with a champion like Olaf. So now you're taking away the gangplank. You're taking away, more of these top lane picks, and you're trying to say, yeah, just pick a Jace into me. Just pick something. XSV are not going to pick Jace into Olaf. Like that, I'm just calling it right now. But at the very least, they're saying you have to pick something that will end up fighting me, and I'm going to be shoving a ton of people into that top lane to make this Olaf roar. Fireflans is being set up for success here, and into the Gwen, there is bound to be a team fight deliverance.
This is interesting, because it could be either Gwen or Skarner top. Olaf can go jungle if you want. It's going to be Olaf jungle, Garen top. So it's probably
Garen jungle?
I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna be honest. I think
Gwen that's actually
or,
such a good pivot.
I don't think Gwen or Skarner are good into Garen. I mean, that just doesn't go well for you. The Ahri mid pick finally going to come out. I think this is a brilliant mid pick. I love it. It sets up that Olaf really well, like you're saying. This Karma goes insane this game. Garen gets to go in. You kind of lack a little bit of CC on Akuma Spikers, but that's really your only problem. On the other side, Mel going to be the answer into Ahri.
I like this, actually. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Gwen. Right, I would have preferred to see something that, just like a Scion, honestly, would totally be fine. Like, you're not going to be able to do much into the Olaf. You just want to be able to do something to deter people. Mundo's also an availability. But the big thing here is the Mel is a phenomenal pick into teams that want the fight to go on for as long as possible, right? And a team with Senna, a team with Karma, is a team that wants this fight to go on for a while. So, Akuma Spikers, they have themselves a death ball of a composition. XSV Neon, they have themselves a composition that does fine in the solo lanes, barring top lane. And then hopefully they can make things work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I give, once again, the draft to Akuma. Like you said, XSV, you have a winning mid lane, you have a winning bot lane, you better get stupidly ahead. Because if this game goes to team fights, you don't stand a chance. I think the Skarner pick was the biggest mistake in this draft, in my opinion. I don't like Skarner into Olaf top. I don't like Skarner into Olaf jungle. And I mean, you see them throw in a Senna Karma. I don't know what this Skarner does this game. We're also getting a level 1 invade. Yes, he did. We're getting a level 1 invade onto the strongest level 1 champion in the game. Sure, G Mumu went for something crazy, and I hate to say it, it's already not worked out. They are going to get some chunk damage into this bot lane. Wait a minute. Otto has finally got that flash. Iconic has walked all the way here to do nothing. Okay, so it shouldn't have worked for you, but it did.
However, Skarner space thinking, it was a good play.
Yeah. Showing on a level 1 invade.
Whatever.
Result-based thinking. Brilliant play.
Yeah, result-based thinking, baby. I am the hugest hater of picking anything other than a wall-based champion when the enemy team has Olaf, because there's just so much that
What
Olaf
walls
has.
do you have left, though?
Jarvan!
Jarvan was banned. Oh my god, I'm Blast. Gonna get annihilated here. Fireflans finds first blood. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Amazing. Jarvan was banned, though. Anivia wall's gone. Trundle, a notorious counter between Pillar and Subjugate, gone. This is actually an insane Olaf game because there's nothing left on the table to counter it.
Oh, you're actually so right.
There was nothing.
Oh my god. Yeah,
there was literally. I was looking at Olaf counters. Camille's banned. Jarvan's banned. Your best bet is maybe Tryndamere or Singed. And what comp are you designing around Tryndamere or Singed?
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I got nothing for you there.
Kled could have been good. Kled is maybe the only pick that could have been good because you can run away. Or maybe a Swain if you want to commit. But
no.
That's dangerous.
No, you also didn't know if he was going top lane or jungle.
Yeah, I mean, like, you kind of, like, you
Well, okay. So
It was
all
insane.
all things about the picks aside, XSV are definitely running away with this bot lane, right? I mean, we were talking about how XSV Neon had a winning bot lane. They had a mid lane that was going to do more than fine into Ahri, but what they have available for themselves right now is a disgustingly huge lead in the bot side. That is 9 CS to 27, right? That is 3 times the CS. And in
Yeah, I
the
mean-
meantime, Fireflans and I'm Blast in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there's the 1-for-1. Iconic is here. There's going to be the axe, but of course, Gwen immunity is going to be able to keep it away, and now Skarner's on the rotate, but so is Thomas. I think Thomas did just show on Vision there. So they do know Thomas is there. It's a lot of nothing happening inside of that top lane. However, nothing is fine for Akuma Spikers, because, I mean, you're playing with a Senna. To be fair, Olaf and Garen, they definitely do accelerate in this early game. But the Senna is their late game insurance at the end of the day, and you're playing into Caitlyn luck. If this bot lane can survive and not lose all of their plating, they're doing well. Because the team fights, at the end of the day, is where Akuma Spikers will shine. You will watch this Olaf run the Rift if he's not put behind. And how does a Skarner put an Olaf behind?
Yeah, I mean, Skarner just... The thing about Skarner is that his job is just to get these engages onto the rest of Olaf's team, right? It's going to be very difficult for the Skarner to do much in terms of appealing. Honestly, like, this is one of those moments where there's a case to be made for, you know, lights off Nocturne, or like just these full utility jungle picks who get rid of the entirety of the enemy team. Like, I think Poppy has a place here, right? But Skarner is going to struggle. Right, so Gmumu not very much set up for success here. Meanwhile, Akuma Spikers, they very much have a plan in mind, but they need to get past the laning phase, right? They're still 20 CS down in the bot
Tether
lane.
going to land onto the Caitlyn. A big chunk going to come out. However, it's rooted back. X-Fluke taking a lot of damage. Auto not fully getting a good trade. And like you were saying, this bot lane, go ahead, because they are kind of getting annihilated.
Yeah, I mean, they are struggling down here. Iconic still looking for that level 6, still looking to continue to farm up to a point where he can actually just start running straight into this bot lane. There is no ghost on this Olaf, though, so there's not going to be a possibility of getting anywhere near. In the meantime, Gmumu just going to be starting up this dragon, going to be able to pick that up as much as possible. Grubby's not going to be spawning for a little bit, but Iconic going to be walking around to the Krugs as well. You know, I think he knows that they're spawning pretty soon, but might have just gone for a little bit of commitment a little bit too early and deciding it's not worth it. We don't really know where everyone is right at this moment. It's a lot of time wasted up in the top lane for Iconic, but the moment the dragon goes down, he knows that he has the ability to just go straight for it.
Yeah, he does just have the ability to kind of run as far as he wants with it. I think right now, XSV Neon, they're in a good position. They're in a good position, right? Mel up in CS, Caitlyn and Lux up in CS. These are your two who are kind of going to carry, and then Gwen maybe can get side laning in, maybe can annihilate that Olaf if she gets stupid ahead. What I'm looking for right now, though, is an early heal cut. I think heal cut is insane right now. Oh, wait a minute. Fireflance gets the ignite, but he is getting annihilated by the snip stip. Going to be able to get away. He will have flash, as well as that Demacian Justice ready to go for that next trade. So there is a good chance I'm Blast can go down. I'm Blast can die in this top lane if Fireflance can find a good angle. Meanwhile, bot side, Gmumu, Heppo, all here to help. There's going to be the support pinned to the tower. Nowhere to go. Golden Eclipse. Good night to Otto. And X-Fluke could do nothing but watch. X-Fluke was just like, hi. Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult to actually do much over here. In the meantime, Fireflance, he has an opportunity, goes for the kill.
There's going to be the silence. Flash forward.
Flash?
The auto tech. Good night to I'm Blast.
Yeah, I mean, Flash is forward just to make sure that there is no dash away from I'm Blast in time. But right now, Fluke does manage to get that one route. Not going to be able to get much off of it. Itaconic and Otto, though, in the area. Morbidly Obese and Bray know what's going on.
Oh, there's going to be the root. Charm goes forward. Morbidly Obese goes down as Itaconic is going to claim his first kill as Olaf. And that means the Olaf snowballing is just beginning.
Yeah, I said it was all about waiting until Itaconic hits level 6, and there we are. Hits level 6, is fully available here. In the meantime, Heppo, at the very least, has that early kill in the mid lane, just gonna be farming up on this Mel as much as possible. Once again, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, Mel is one of those champions that is disgustingly good when the backline divers are taken off the table. That is incredible when people want the fights to last for as long as possible, because the longer a fight lasts, the higher and higher value Mel becomes, right? Whether that it's that passive that's ticking away, or that ultimate that does more and more damage, as Fireflan's going to take a ton of damage on the top side.
There's going to be the Dawning Shadow to keep him alive. He has no Demacian Justice, but Thomas is on the roam. There's the charm! The flash charm to keep Fireflands alive. The question is, can Thomas finish the job? G-Mumu on the rotate. Here's Itaconic as well. Oh, there's Olaf. Ragnarok pops. He's on top of the Mel. Mel cannot stun him. They aren't going to be able to find anything on the Solar, and now Heppo is going to go down. Thomas now chasing G-Mumu. It is huge. Olaf currently 3-0, and G-Mumu now under the turret. There's the charm. Firefly is there with the Mossy Injustice. Yoink! Good night to G-Mumu. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Shutdown goes over to none other than Skarner. Calculated shutdown.
Yeah, I mean, shutdown gonna be going straight to G-Mumu. The bot lane is struggling for the side of Akuma Spikers, but the question is, how much is this bot lane actually going to be able to do into a top side this strong, into the Ahri, into the 3-kill Olaf, right? I genuinely don't know whether or not the Lux Caitlyn will be able to provide enough, but as far as XSV Neon fans are concerned, it has to. Otto looking for an in onto Brain.
Root going on to Brain. X-Fluke going to be able to land the root, and Brain is going to be down for the count. 1, 2, 3. Morbidly Obese shortly to follow. This tag team is not winning any championships at the moment. G-Mumu late on the rotate, and it just like that, Akuma Spikers are looking to bring it home in 3. This game is starting to have similar shades to game 2.
Yeah, I mean, Akuma Spikers, they have that lead. They have so much under their belt here. But remember, XSV Neon in that last game just had their ways to just slowly try and crawl back to that top, trying to find a way how to make things work, how to make these fights work out in their favor, regardless of how far behind they were. And a lot of it started from these death balls. So now, as these towers begin to go down, as the laning phase starts to fall away, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to have the opportunity to death ball these compositions?
Yeah, the death ball would kind of need to be what you're going for. You lock in Mel, Caitlyn, Lux with the intention to win lane. You lock in Gwen with the intention to win lane. So far, what started as winning lanes, you kind of have in the CS department, but the jungle difference right now is huge.
Gwen Garrett is not a winning lane, right? They
I didn't say
expected. They were expecting that Olaf in that top lane, and then Akuma Spikers just said, "Yeah, no. Well, we're
Dawning Shadow,
our own counterpick here."
Fireflies keeps it alive. I mean, Gwen's not even that hard winning into Olaf. It's like a 1% difference. Oh my god, though. Ado pinned up against the wall, and that is a very dead karma.
Yeah, very, very dead karma. And the dragon also dying for the side of XSV Neon. Akuma Spikers in a solid position. But once again, XSV Neon showing why they were the first seeds going into this. Why they were the expected winners going into this. Why this team is one to be respected. But the biggest question here is whether or not it's going to be enough. Right? Is one dragon going to be able to do it? Is one kill going to be able to do it? Is their team going to be at a position where they can actually play these later game fights? Are they going to be able to do the same kind of magic that we saw in that previous game? I argue that this team composition, is just generally not as much of a counter as we saw in that last game. It was actually a very, very good team comp for XSV Neon in the previous game, but this time around, the only real wins that they've got under their belt are Caitlyn and Lux. But Morbidly Obese and Brain are more than just a win under their belt. They are the entire cavalry.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing though with XSV this game, right? It's Inferno Soul, it's a Caitlyn, it's a Gwen, and it's against an Olaf. If you can blow Olaf up, you win. If you can get the next 2 dragons, I think Neon takes it to a game 4. The question is, how do you do that? Olaf is strong. You are only 400 gold down because you've gotten tower platings. You've gotten a pretty strong Caitlyn despite her 2 deaths. But how do you get to the point where you can bring down that Olaf? There's going to be a Sun on Fireflies. Itaconic is on the side, but with how much chunk damage came from that final spark, they are forced to leave. I think there's one thing glaringly missing from these items of XSV Neon, and it is both shield cut and heal cut. Wait a minute, Ragnarok, the stun. There's going to be the slow coming from that stride breaker, but he can't follow up more than burning that Caitlyn flash. Caitlyn flash down. It is on a longer timer than Ragnarok. Dragon, 2 minutes and 45 seconds away, and that's the fight all eyes need to be on. Firefly stun for a little bit. Heppo on the side. Heppo going to find... No, they will. They will not find Otto.
Yeah, I mean, Heppo just tried to go for it, tried to get that solar snare, tried to get those Qs on in. That would almost certainly have turned into an ult and a kill. Thomas, on the other hand, just going to clear out this bot lane as much as possible. Otto in a lot of trouble here.
Otto is going to find the tether on G-Mumu, but Firefly's taking everything. Golden Eclipse going to go down. Final Spark's going to go down. G-Mumu finds the wrong target.
What a dodge.
They're going to go for Otto and not Fireflans. Otto is going to go down. Wait, no way. No way. The healing and shielding.
The teleport?
And then Ari, Thomas comes in on the teleport, finds Morbidly Obese. How do you turn that? There's the jump forward. The Spirit Rush is insane. Thomas is a god.
Yeah, and Thomas comes on in. Itaconix already rejoined the fight.
Oh, Fireflies is back.
Teleports
Fireflies
back
is back. Spin to win. G-Mumu nowhere to go. Demacian Justice. And Lux's older brother is showing her who's boss. This is bullying at this point.
Sibling rivalry gone wrong. Akuma Spikers, they take the longest team fight known to mankind, and they come out on top. And Fluke in that mid lane just continuing to scale up on the Senna. Each and every member of this team just playing exactly to their win conditions. Firefly's going to be the good guy and actually block that one. I thought it would have been so funny if they missed, but it's the finals.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Morbidly Obese goes insane. Brain is going to go down. Pinky nowhere to be seen. Fireflies spinning all over them. Beyblades let it rip, but unfortunately that Beyblade just got ripped off. It is 2 shutdowns going over. Gwen and Mel both going to find them. However, right now you are 2,000 gold down off of a 10-minute team fight.
Yeah, 2,000 gold down off a 10-minute team fight, but your 80 carry is continuing to be the strong point of your team. Meanwhile, Fluke is continuing to farm up on the Senna, right? That's scaling insurance. But let's take a look at this one more time. I don't think we're going to be able to finish it, but the Dawning Shadow does come on through. Otto gets a big heal onto G-Mumu. Golden Eclipse not going to be able to kill. Shield onto Fireflies. A crucial dodge from the Garen. Flashes forward, tries to kill Otto. Another Mantra W to be able to heal. The teleport into the flash forward from Thomas to take out Morbidly Obese, and now your biggest point of power is not available. Another route goes through. Brain can't actually play the game, and as anticipated...
there's the Impale! Fireflies going to get completely stunned. The Dawning Shadow to attempt to save them, but they are going to go down. There's a lot of throwing once again happening from Akuma Spikers. Constant catches out, and this time it's before third dragon. You know what that means. It is going to put XSV Neon on sole point. Their win con is unlocked. Can they finish the job in 5 minutes? We need to tell, because I hate to say this, but if it's not a 4-dragon game for Neon, I think they're seriously at risk of losing this finals.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of whether it is a 4-dragon game, they are seriously at risk of losing this finals. Akuma Spikers always managing to put themselves in a good position, but XSV Neon still finding ways to eke out these smaller victories, eke out these team fight wins, just finding more ways to put as much gold onto their carries as possible. But once again, you have to be so scared for the side of Akuma Spikers and for the side of XSV Neon. Akuma Spikers could throw this at any point. XSV Neon, with their backs against the wall, they have that frustration, that scared, thought process just continuing to weigh down on them. In the meantime, Fireflies and Otto looking for the Mel in the top lane.
Yeah, there is the look for the Mel inside of that top lane. Not a lot going to be found there as we continue onwards. Caitlyn sitting on the turret trying to farm. Senna has been in the side lane so much this game that she's kind of caught up in CS. You'll remember she was down a ton early game. Obviously, the souls probably aren't all there because it is an ADC Senna, but she is scaling slowly but surely. Fluke is almost got the Impale, does find the Olaf, but that's not the target you're looking for. Ragnarok, they are running down Brain. They do find Brain, but the final spark, there's enough damage to take them down. However, in the back lane, goes down the Caitlyn G-Mumu a little bit too slow, and the Rift Herald charge is coming forward from Otto, who just landed on the Heppo, the knockup. Who cares about hitting the turret? We're here to kill you. I'm Blast, gonna try to clean it up. The Gwen in the back, Snip, gonna miss, but it does find Fireflans. Needlework going to find the shutdown on Thomas, going to find Fireflans. This is why they were the first All-Pro team. Can they make it 3? No, they can't, but they are, once again, the hero for XSV Neon.
I'm Blast, just able to get in at just the right time to look for some sort of redemption for the team. But XSV Neon, that's not what they want, right? They don't want to have a redemption. They want their actual team to win from the get-go. And look at this. It's just Iconic going straight in, doing so much damage, set up for success, while Fireflans on the back line just managing to take out Morbidly Obese. G-Mumu right now tries to find a way to survive, but the entirety of the team goes down before I'm Blast can show up and clean things up. Gwen is immune for just long enough to make the rest of the members fear.
I mean, I'm Blast has just put a little bit of hope back into the pocket of XSV. Trying to do it again, but they are going to be caught on this side lane. No one's going to go down. It does look like it is just going to be an annihilation of I'm Blast as Baron spawns. Just as you put in so much work, I'm Blast. Just as you show why you're first All-Pro team. Also, Thomas does find the Lux just off camera there under the turret. Now Baron's back in their pocket and an extra 1,500 gold. You bring the gold gap back and then you give it away. And now the Baron power play is going to start at 20 minutes unless G-Mumu can steal. You'll notice G-Mumu waiting patiently over the wall. There's going to be a big ace in the hole. It's going to chunk do a lot. Heppo trying to get some damage off. There's the Golden Eclipse. A lot of them low on health. Dawning Shadow goes back. It's reflected. Can they find the steal? G-Mumu in the pit. It's anybody steal. G-Mumu finds it. G-Mumu finds the steal. Ragnarok does land on Morbidly Obese, but they're able to finish the job. G-Mumu will go down, but he does the hero play.
The flash?
He finds Otto as well. Heppo gonna find Thomas. There's their way back in the game. G-Mumu, an absolute legend for that steal, but Fluke showing that they have started to scale. They do find Heppo on the side. Two members should have Baron here. Blast and Brain.
Yeah, and Blast has been the strong point for the side of XSV Neon throughout the entirety of this series. This game in particular has been playing on the back foot, but at the very least, no, Blast does not have it, is actually just going to be onto Brain. And when the only member of your team with the Baron buff is going to be your support, you have to protect that support. Let's take a look at this fight one more time. Dawning Shadow going to go through, but reflected immediately. Heppo just able to get this down slightly, so that way G-Mumu can steal away with that smite. And Heppo stays alive for so long. Thomas even flashing past that solar snare, not gonna be able to survive long enough to take out this Mel. I said it in Champ Select, I'll say it again. This champion's disgusting when the when the fights go later. G-Moo gonna get locked up here, though.
Rooted. There's going to be the charm on to Brain. Brain goes down again to start the fight. Heppel going to get slowed here. The Golden Eclipse not even going to go off. Morbidly Obese caught on the side. Inaconic going to run down the Scarter. And I'm Blast. Can they be the hero they need? The answer is no. There is no Inferno Soul coming home to XSV Neon. The Baron is now gone. And the question is, can Akuma march in time? They're going to get this T2. The Drake is going to go down. I don't know that they can end just yet.
They definitely can't.
But they're taking everything. They are going to get that inhib. They're getting thousands of gold back in the pocket. 1,000 gold to 7,000 difference, and they prevent the Inferno Soul. It's monumental for Akuma Spikers.
It is incredible for the side of Akuma Spikers. They managed to break the base. That inhib is fully exposed. Not a single one of the bot lane towers has been taken yet for the side of Akuma Spikers, so that's just going to go into the pocket of Itaconic. But let's take a look at this fight one more time. Solar Snare comes on through, does not actually manage to snare anyone up. G-Moo snared and far away from the team. Dawning Shadow puts so much strength on the backline divers, and when you're trading backlines and one of the backlines just is unkillable, good luck if you're a tank. G-Moo in the end not able to do much. I'm Blast tries to make something happen, but it's too little, too late. And once again, I'm Blast getting locked up in this top lane here.
Yeah, completely locked up. I'm Blast. I mean, they might win the one-on-one, but they definitely don't win the two-on-one. And that's the thing about Akuma Spikers. They're always together, man. These guys they're a stable. There is no safety in the side lanes. I'm Blast, without a doubt, has been the first all-pro top laner for a reason. They win their lane. But it's hard to win your lane when it's not a one-on-one. Top lane is not an island when you are against Akuma Spikers. Fireflans can trust his fire friends. And now, turrets falling again. That T2 in the top gonna fall. No inhibs just yet, but Baron spawning in 2 minutes. And they've taken control of this map. They have almost all the T2s currently knocked down. They have a T3 in mid. Mid has been split wide open. Olaf, 7-3-7. Ari, 8-2-14. Senna, unkillable. Garen, 11-5. Third to fourth items getting picked up. What are XSV Neon to do, Anti?
I mean, honestly, at this point, it just turns into the same thing that we've said time and time again. You're down this much, all you can do is death ball. You have to make something happen. G-Moo is in such a tough position in a lot of these fights, but I'm Blast, most critically, just has not been able to do much in these fights until very, very late, right? This Gwen is a huge pick for the team, does so much damage across everyone, but just gets slowed up and taken out by the Garen in so many of the fights.
The spin to win again. There's going to be the Dawning Shadow. Firefly's going to be able to avoid the Solar Snare there and get away. Here comes G-Moo searching for anything they can find, but unfortunately, there's no camps up for you. The level difference as well are going to start to show. His camps are getting cleared on repeat. It is a 50 CS up Olaf, and he's now taking that blue side as well. There is no gold left on this map for poor G-Moo.
Yeah, I mean, G-Moo right now just doing what he can, right? Just trying to make some sort of use out of this pick, but it's so difficult into this team composition. I just gotta say, Akuma Spikers with the Olaf swap into the jungle did such a good choice there, because a lot of it is just this team composition from XSV Neon makes sense if Olaf is in the top lane, right? Because at the very least, you can say, like, yeah, you know, Skarn will be fine in most of the jungle matches that are available right now. Gwen's going to be doing okay into the Olaf. In the meantime, they said, yeah, no, we're pivoting. We're putting that Olaf in the jungle. Good luck playing Gwen Garen. That matchup is so playable, right? In the meantime, Solar Snare gonna go wide.
Finds Ido. There is going to be the final spark. Good night, however. Fireflans is going to dance all over you. Heppo does get out. Dawning Shadow not going to be able to keep Fireflans alive, but here comes the Ari. It's once again a patented Thomas. Flank TP comes in. Ragnarok does end early, however. Brain Brain picked once again, nowhere to go, unfortunately. That Thomas TP in the middle of their team has done wonders with Blast. Is still alive. Blast finds the shutdown, but Iconic putting in the work. Doesn't find the undertone, doesn't commit to going down on I'm Brain. However, G Moo. Oh, the undertone misses. G Moo able to get out 2 alive on each team. However, it is still going to be an inhib going over to Akuma Spikers. They keep finding everything, and with that inhib down, it means that Dragon should be firmly over their pockets. But if XSV can fight it, if XSV can find it, it is still Soul. The question is, can G Moo steal it again if they go for it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be difficult. Iconic has the ability to save, but instead goes for that quick reset here. 3 items on the Olaf, and the Senna is continuing to scale up to a ridiculous amount. 179 CS at almost 28 minutes is nothing to scoff at, but definitely far cry from what you'd hope to see from some of these AD carries. Because, you know, it's just a matter of getting the amount of damage you need onto these late game hyper carries. Iconic trying to look for a steal here. XSV Neon's all here first.
How did they get here first? They're in the pit first. The question is, can they survive the fight? Iconic is ready to engage. They're all grouped together here. There could be a huge impale. It just can't be on Iconic. There's going to be the Ragnarok into all of them. He's dancing around. He's gliding on them. He is beating them down. I'm Blast gets stunned up. Thomas is going crazy. And that's the 5 for nothing 8. And ladies and gentlemen, Akuma Spikers are going to be your Ascendant champion.
Akuma Spikers came into the finals 5th seed. Came into the playoffs 5th seed. They came into the regular season looking far from the best, but at the end of the day, they're hoisting the trophy with a 3-0 victory off the backs of every single one of their members.
What a series, what a match. Akuma Spikers go all the way, and they ended in 3 games. 3-0. What an insane performance. The 5th seed versus the 1st seed, and Akuma Spikers clean 3-0. The 2nd time Akuma has beaten XSV in finals. The 3rd finals loss for XSV. The curse might be real. What an insane way to do it in Ascendant. What an incredible 3 games we just watched, Anti.
Yeah, an insane 3 games, and this one, I'd say, is off the backs of the draft, right? Akuma Spikers, they had everything set up to make sure that Olaf would actually succeed. A fluke that so many teams fall into, where they just slam Olaf. It's like, this champion is good. We're not going to pair him with anything that actually speeds him up or keeps him healthy or actually allows him to get to people, right? Instead, they pick the Senna, they pick the Karma, right? They say, our bot lane is going to suffer, but our Olaf is going to do fine. And that's so much focus onto the Olaf pick that, you know, XSV Neon, they say, all right, it's an Olaf pick. We know what we can do about this. We're just going to pick a Skarner so we can just deal with whatever jungler it's going to be. And then we're just going to pick Gwen, which will be fine into into Fire Flames' Olaf. It wasn't Fire Flames' Olaf, right? The moment the Gwen goes down, they immediately see the Garen angle and they say, yep, that matchup is playable, whatever, right? That counter pick is so disgustingly good. The later the game goes as well. So either way, 3-0 from Akuma. Are we getting an interview with Akuma, actually?
We are going to get an interview with Akuma. I also want to say with the Olaf, it's so interesting because last series we've seen it go against TMG, and the Olaf did not perform well on Fireflies. And to see it come out and be like, oh, that's probably Fireflies again. I'm a little worried at this pick. Flex it to the jungle. What a brilliant story. What a brilliant change in draft philosophy. What a match all around. 2 things. 2 things I want to say before we go into the interview. 1, the XSV story gets more and more interesting. Just for the sake that they come in, they decimate every season. They're a fairly newer work. They come in, they keep decimating. But they have 6 finals, 3 of them down, 3 losses. 2 more to go in Titan, 1 to go in Philly B League. We'll ignore the Philly B one for now, but 2 still to go in Titan. Vanquisher on Tuesday, Conqueror on Wednesday. Can XSV win a final? You got to tune in at 8 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday those. But also, Anti, I got to ask, who is your MVP of the series and who's your dark horse? I mean, I think it's safe to say dark horse, as I'm blessed without any commentary. But who is your MVP of the series? Because there's a couple acceptable answers.
MVP of the series. Oh, that's tough, right? Because I'm inclined to say that Otto did so unbelievably well in game number 1. But game number 2, Thomas did incredible. Game number 3, Fireflans was extremely, extremely high value on that Garen pick. But I think overall, the most consistently useful member across all 3 games of the series was Itaconic.
Fully agree. Fully agree. Iconic. I mean, obviously, game 3 is flashy on the KDA because it's Olaf, but the Xin Zhao in the right place at the right time. And to be fair, a lot of it is to do with both him and Otto denying so much vision and getting so much vision. But Iconic on the Wukong, right place, right time. On the Xin Zhao, right place, right time. On the Olaf, decided I'm going to carry, go my team's carry and have his team play for him. Iconic, a jungle masterclass we just watched. And don't get me wrong, G Mumu, we've seen time again. That guy is not a bad jungler. G Mumu is a fantastic jungler. There's a reason
100%.
that guy's Masters. There's a reason that guy's an All-Pro. G Mumu, fantastic. But Iconic and Adu, they are why in any team you make, the jungler and support have to have great synergy. And you might not see them dancing around the field together, but they are denying vision, they are finding vision, and they're doing so much. I fully agree. I think Iconic played an amazing series. You can say it about any of them. Even Fluke being weak-sided and just surviving is great, but I fully agree with that MVP pick, Iconic. But that said, ladies and gentlemen,
it's one of those moments where you look at all 5 members of the team and you just say, wow, all of them are playing really, really well. It's genuinely hard to pick. But either way, what better way to cap things off than with an interview with our winners?
Yeah, of course, we'll go to the interview right after a short break. We're going to go ahead and get it set up for you, and we will be back with Akuma Spikers, your champions of the Titan Ascendant League 2026 Fall Split. Don't go anywhere to hear what they have to say. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We got out of ado, and we have none other than Thomas.
We
Listen,
just clarified
listen.
it was Otto, and then you corrected
Yeah.
yourself to say ado.
I did.
instead.
I tried my best. It's the theater kid in me. But we have Thomas, we have Otto on the line, your two new Ascendant Summer Split 2026 champions. How are you guys feeling having just won the chip?
Pretty great. It's always fun when you're winning with your friends. It's even better when you win with your little brother. So
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. That was a fun series. A lot of fighting. It was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that series as a whole, very, very fun to watch. I'm sure it was a fun one to play, but also bound to be a little bit stressful. Now, my question here is going into game number 3, right? You're up 2 games. You have blue side for the 3rd time in a row. Now, early on, it made it very, very clear that this was a team composition built around the Olaf pick. Now, was that Olaf pick being moved over to jungle something that you had planned from the very get-go, or was that something that you see the team composition and you say, yeah, we'll just throw Olaf into the jungle, toss the Garen up there, because the moment the Gwen comes through, the moment the Gwen comes through and the Olaf isn't locked into top lane, my first thought is, ooh, Garen makes this unplayable, doesn't it?
yeah.
So I brought it up in draft by accident. Like, I asked Edaconic, like, hey, because I don't play. I think I've played with Edo once. So I said, hey, do you play Olaf? It was like 15 seconds into bans. And he's like, yeah, I can play it. So then Coffee just like ran with it.
Yeah, I think the plan initially when we were B1ing Senna was if they were going to go like a fighting lane bot. If you look at my OPGG, I've been playing nothing but orange support for the last like 2 weeks. I think it's like mega completely overpowered. No one knows about it. So the plan was to play Ornn on 2, but then when they went like Lux, Caitlyn, the idea was to just move into Olaf with Karma Flex. So we were double flexing Karma and Olaf, and just kind of deciding what goes where based on what they pick on 3-4.
Makes sense.
I think honestly that Olaf was an amazing pick. That low-key helped you guys like stomp that game. There was nothing left to counter. But I wanted to ask you guys obviously brought up you played with Idaconic like once before. What is it like coming in as subs into finals this season? What's it like coming in so late into the season as subs? Obviously like in and out, but into this team cup. How does that change? How does comms go? What do you think is like the big pivots you have to make when you're coming in as subs into such an important series?
I think it was pretty seamless because the thing is, like obviously I played the whole season. I've been playing with these guys in another league as well. I've been playing in Ember where I play AD carry. I just wanted to try a split of playing AD carry. Like I played support for the last 2 years. Obviously I'm pretty decent at it. But you know, it gets a bit boring.
We'd say
but
so.
Then, but the communication structure doesn't really change much, right? Like I do a lot of our talking, like 90% of the planning in and out of game, and then you know people kind of just like add fuel to whatever that is. And then Thomas is like again, it's pretty seamless because obviously we have some inbuilt familial synergy, but also like he's played with the other people before other than Ida. Ida was really the only odd one out.
Little brother
also-
energy.
Yeah, sorry. Ida's like also just like the best jungler. I mean, he gapped that guy like all 3 games. It was kind of crazy. He was everywhere, but always up on farm too. Like there's that Wukong. He's up 144 CS. The enemy's 107, and he's up KP. He's up. It made no sense. That guy is something else. Makes playing mid really easy.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle's a counter picked into Shinzao, but did not look like it either. Like, what
Right.
in the world was going on over there?
Yeah,
he's
okay with
reading
that, I
him.
think. Like I was calling for like I think Ida when we were discussing what we were going to go on B1. We were between a few champions. I know Tristana was one because we flex it. And then like we settled on Xin, knowing that he was going to pick Trundle. So the idea was to just pick Xin Zhao, he goes Trundle, and we just take lanes that can always push and move, like Ryze and Ashe. And then just always win the 2v2, 3v3s.
So
Makes a lot of
with-
sense.
with that, obviously, like Anivia is a traditional counter into something like a Rise, and we're talking about the pushing lanes into Trundles. What do you think the game plan is with something like that? Because obviously, there's that really big play in the mid lane very early on with that like Trundle hold into the like Anivia kill with the Xin going in right at the start, which kind of helped. But what's the play when we see that Anivia counter into the Rise?
So I'll be honest with you. I haven't played mid in like 6 months. I've just been queuing top lane. So I I haven't played these like cringe like the Casio Rise or anything. I've been playing Rise top into Cassante. You know what I mean? Like it has not been so. Yeah, he missed like the first 3 Qs in lane, and so I don't know if there's like an I'm a cutie pie quote where he said if he hits 2 Ezreal Qs, he feels like the lane is won. Like he knows he's going to win the lane because clearly the enemy's bad. It kind of felt like the inverse of that, where he missed 3 Anivia Qs. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this isn't a counter. He doesn't know how to play. He started Q and like did nothing. So I don't know. It didn't feel like a counter, and he built very strange.
Yeah, I mean, you talk your trash, King. You won. So now, speaking of winning, game number 2 was a very contentious game. You were up so much gold, but that felt unbelievably close. What were the comms like? What was the mental like in those moments? Like, was it like super tense, or was it just, yeah, haha, we're so far ahead, let's just play for content?
Yeah, I mean, the vibes were always going to be immaculate with this team. Like everyone was taking it pretty easy. I think we knew that we were slowly, like the wheels were coming off the bus, but then we like refocused. The idea was to let Darius backdoor while we just danced them at Elder. That didn't work. But then after that, I called Tom to just rise ult us into the base and we could end the game while they fight mid. But like it was never in doubt. I don't think we ever thought we were going to lose.
Can I ask, what was the comms? I could ask this off screen. What was the comms when Zin got on the right side of the Anivia wall and like 2v1'd it and like saved the game because of
I
the
thought he
Anivia
was dead.
wall?
I was in shock. And then I panned my camera back over and he was still fighting. And then we watched the stream back after and you guys were losing it, which was awesome.
Dude, the call was so good. The call was so good.
Oh man,
That was nuts. I broke my like we can talk about this really quickly. Next question. Well, like, we both sat there after the cast. We're like, what happened? What even happened? It was incredible. It was incredible.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but you know, in the end, nothing's more incredible than a 3-0 victory over here. Now, I guess my final question is, when you did go into this series, right? You're coming in as 5th seed, you got subs going, and obviously you were saying is the subs is very seamless. You already know these people. You're not going into this thinking that like, oh no, we're gonna get washed. We don't have our main roster. But how much preparation was put into it, and how much confidence did you have going into the series? And did the confidence pick up after game 1, or was it just, you know, full confidence from the get-go? Or, you know, like, there's 2 sorts of mindsets that people tend to go with. There is, game's not over yet, so we have to keep on going with it, or yeah, whatever, we're gonna win this anyway.
Yeah, I think we're kind of playing with house money, right? With 2 subs. Chief was doing an unbelievable amount of prep for us before he left because he let us know that he was going on vacation like 2 days ago at like 11 o'clock on Friday. Or not vacation. But he has like a business trip that he has to do. So
oh man,
we were kind of scrambling to find what roster would work. I texted Tom, asked if he could play, and then we figured it out from there. But like again, we were playing with house money. Obviously, we were prepared. I don't think they were very prepared for us to sub in because our play style is very different when I'm playing support versus I'm playing something else, because I just want to fight everything always, as I'm sure you guys have seen. Whereas maybe with Chief, they play a little bit slower. But I think all things considered, Thomas hasn't played the role in a while, so he subbed in pretty seamlessly. He looked really good. So shout out to Mr. Toomer.
Yeah, I won't lie. The vibes at the start of the series were a little grim. I played an AML last night, and we got 3-0'd, and I went to combined 3 and 18 in all games. So it was a rough.
You did better today.
I did.
It's
you know,
a lot better today.
I had more KP in the Galio game, which I had the lowest KP across the series, than the entire 3 games yesterday combined. So it was I was going in a little shaky, I won't lie, but like Franco's the GOAT top laner. He's going up against I'm Blast, who also destroyed me earlier this season, and seeing him be confident kind of gave the boys some juice to keep going. So I don't know. I think, and Miko also, I mean, that guy, Mental Monk, that Senna game looked absolutely awful to play. And he's just like, guys, I'm fine. Like, I'll farm bot. You stay mid. It was, so once the games got going, it was a lot easier. That team's pretty mentally strong. So
Honestly, and like, Your roams this game, Thomas. Like all 3 games, your roams, especially that like Ari TP into 3 of them, and you just like get a triple kill, or every time you and you and your brother went top, like the
Yeah.
Shen game where you think I'm Blast on the Yorick is just going to annihilate, and you guys the roams. How do you guys figure out these roams? Because honestly, like I think a huge part of the win, especially in the top line for Fireflands, is the roams you guys are sending up there.
I mean, a lot
Yeah,
of it is planning ahead, right?
Yeah. They play
Like-
super disrespectful. Like I'm Blast is really, really good because he clicks forward a lot and like he'll skill check you. And if you mess up once, there goes your lane. And he's like super good, but that playstyle always has risks. Their bot lane in game 3, especially, like I called that was opening up bot because they're kind of like overstaying their tempo quite a bit. They're 75% HP, no flashes, playing into Ari, and I'm off map for like 30 seconds. So like Ado Coffee is permanently saying like, hey, there's a play open, and the team's like they're really good. Like these guys are really good at seeing spots. So
Yeah.
it made the roams easy.
We always plan stuff at least like 35, 40 seconds ahead. Like I'm typically asking for people to push waves when I want to do something, right? So like if something needs to happen around like Rift Herald, for example, or Grubs, we're telling Fluke to push, Tomb to push, get our resets in so that we can open up properly. Like I like to play very structured. So obviously game 2, the structure kind of dissolved a little bit, but like you see game 1 was like the perfect example of very structured play. Like I got to play Bard, run around the map, kind of win every lane for everyone. So
Now, everyone knows if you won, that was all part of the plan.
true.
Either
It
way,
was all part of the plan. It was content.
right? Either way, all things aside, right? It is wonderful to see that y'all had a great time going through this one with a 3-0 victory, right? Are there any final shout outs that you have to, to make? Anyone in particular you want to say like, hey, thank you to this? Comments, concerns, curse words, maybe not curse words, but
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?